A man returns to the end of the world, duh. Sure enough, I spent 1 million to buy a local dog. The onlookers thought that the boy was crazy, because there are only 500 yuan for this soiled dog too. The boss also asked the guy if he were joking. Did not wait for him to finish the words. Chen Luo turned Mane over to him. He knew very well that no one would understand his behavior at this moment. He only knows that in another month Mane will turn into waste paper. There will be a natural disaster in the world's unparalleled ruler in the world. At that time there will be human beings mutated into a funeral. But among the remaining humans, a small number of people also awaken their supernatural powers. Someone awakened the elemental power. Some people also awaken their physical enhancement ability. Chen Luo awakened the extremely rare space power. Have the super Q talent that can save lives with double first-class combat. However, there are also very few animals evolved, awakened from supernatural powers, and this soil dog is one of them, and is also the Thunderbolt King of the Lightning series D1. It's the last uninfected animal in the end of 2. Therefore, it has also become the rations of all survivors as superhumans. Do not have too many people who want to eat its dog meat, but these people are not exceptional. All miserable under its lightning power. Except for Chen Luo. Using his unique skill walking in the void, he won his life, successfully eaten dog meat, and this skill. He also let him escape easily from the siege of the deceased household countless times. Chen Luo, who has space powers, it can be said that he has reached the extreme in the end of the world too. It's a pity that after 2, he only found that he had boiled all the survivors. At this point the world's funeral is discussed. No second human could be found. He was unwilling to be lonely and finally dug a pit to work. Unexpectedly, the force returned to the outbreak of the end of the end. Although all his strengths have disappeared at this moment, but the superpower space opened up in the previous life is still there, since God gave him a chance to rework once. Given the power space that can stop the flow of time. So Chen Luo decided to start crazy stocking. Come to cope with the upcoming end of the world, and the rare materials of the last days are food. Soon the wine and vegetables made by Chen Luo in major hotels were sent. At this moment everyone is checking with him to check the delivery list. You want steamed lamb, steamed beer, steamed deer tail, safflower ducks, chicksy goose, boiled pork, braised duck sauce, chicken bacon. There are 500 copies of the above dishes. I moved to the warehouse according to your requirements. After Chen Luo took the list, he said that today I have worked hard. I will check out for you. Later several people counted the horse in their hands. Lumber, this person's brain is not very good. Buy so many wines and dishes to see how he can eat it alone. This hot day will not finish today and tomorrow will be all tomorrow. But faced with everyone's ridicule, he did not ignore. Instead, I immediately put these foods into the power space and keep fresh. But at this moment, he suddenly received a call. Just listening to the phone on the phone and saying that it was angrily, "You stinky boy, give me a trip immediately. I have something to ask you." After hanging up the phone, Chen Luo's mouth showed a touch of evil laugh. I did not expect him to get the news so soon. But Debai, I am not so naive this time. Then Chen Luo came to the Chen group. At this time I saw Debai loudly. Why do you want 40 educated shares? Transfer at a price of 1 billion. You do not discuss such a big thing with Mu Bei. Have you taken me my elders in your eyes? If you have any difficulty you can directly tell Debai. He heard that Chen Luo was speechless for a while. Data this Debai can really play. If it were not for the last life his son Chen Fi. I really cannot believe it. My parents' real murder is Bo. I also used my position to gradually occupy the shares left to me by my parents. Thinking of this, Chen Luo said with a grin, "Knowing Debai too hurts me. I have no difficulties, but I have a premonition. The price of pork will still skyrocket. It is not impossible to rise to 100 pounds. I use 1 billion pork now. It will become 100 billion. This deal's not a loss." The uncle was shocked when he heard it, immediately said that your kid is crazy. You do not do business. How do you think this is? To buy your 1.5 billion acquisition of your shares? But Chen Luo said that the other party's money has been paid. Otherwise you go directly to the one to ask the question or not sell it. But at this moment, Chen Luo's mobile phone suddenly rang. Seeing that Chen Luo immediately left the office on the grounds of answering the phone. After connecting the phone I only listened to that side and said anxiously, "The black pastoral you commissioned us to find it found that he found it. I'll send you the address." Then Chen Luo came to a dog meat restaurant anxiously. So the beginning scene happened. But what made him unexpected was, this little guy is also very spiritual. I know it was Chen Luo who saved it. Immediately shook his tail at him. This can make Chen Luo bloom. I think this recovery service seems to be stable. Then he led the dog to his own Ferrari. He touched the dog's head and said, "In the future I will call you the King of Faya. Brother will definitely be delicious and delicious in this life. If you say it, you will drive away." Soon he returned to the door of his community. Watching the strong man standing at the door, Chen Luo's heart is mixed. This person's name is Sude. In his previous life, he had a lifelong relationship with Chen Luo. In the early days of the Doomsday, Chen Luo, who has no awakening power in order to cover up, he blocked more than a dozen mourning people with his power alone, fighting for him for his valuable escape time. In the end of his miserableness, he was beaten by funeral people. Chen Luo looked at the man in front of him, secretly vowed, "Brother, do not worry. I will never let the tragedy happen again in this life. In this life, I will let you drink wine and eat meat." At this moment he said in a deep voice, "Do you have time after you get off work? How about going to the bar with my brother for 2 glasses? But who knows that this silly boy rejected Chen Luo's invitation on the spot, and said that my mother said that going to that kind of place is easy to learn bad things. She has educated me since she was a child. I'm rape or stolen. Luji, you'd better go by yourself. By Jing, we are not familiar with." Chen Lu suddenly realized at this moment, I became a brother who became Su Daju after the end of the world, so after simply he left after the Hanju Haoan sentence. After returning home he first took a shower to Feiyang, then he started to calculate the next plan. To build your own forces. The first thing is to hoard a lot of supplies. Rice, vegetables, salt and fruit seeds are indispensable. Pharmaceutical engine tools are also necessary. Too important is drinking water. Because the water source was polluted after the end of the day, and there is no way to purify it. In the end of the world, I want to drink and Q's drinking water, then you can sit and wait for the rain. The second is to recruit those strong men in the last days in advance. Anyway who can emerge in the future, he is clear. And the first thing he drew was a pair of sisters' flowers. Do not look at them a petite and cute look. They are the characters in the last days. Sister Myling is the combat power ceiling of the fire psychics. People send nickname Blood Roses spiritual Gigi. Sister Rice Grains are even more incredible. All the combat effectiveness is almost zero, but it has a strong auxiliary ability and 2 healing capabilities, will awaken in resurrection later. So he will win the sisters no matter what. So Chen Lu immediately ordered the private sector to check their information. It's necessary to figure out what they like to eat. For him he knows to grab a woman's heart. First I have to grab this woman's stomach. Moreover food will become very lacking after the outbreak of the doomsday. If I could provide them with their favorite food every meal, who can resist this temptation? Soon the detective understood the sisters' eating habits clearly. Sister Myling particularly loves spicy Sichuan cuisine. 2. The fruit of love is grapes. My sister loves to eat braised pigs, trotters, and fish. The favorite fruit is watermelon. After obtaining this information, Chen Lu immediately took what he liked to start stocking up food for the 2 sisters. There are still 7 days after the end of the world. The batch of alloy armor and high-pressure sticks customized by Chen Lu a few days ago. The supplier actually sent him 1 week in advance. This can make him happy. With these equipment, you can fully hang the low-level morning factory before the supernatural awakening. And in the next few days, Chen Lu received more than 10,000 car materials one after another. After doing this, Chen Lu called Dubai. I have a big deal to talk to you. Guaranteed to make a profit without compensation. Let's meet and have a detailed chat later. After hanging up the phone, Chen Lu showed an evil smile on his face. I thought it was time to calculate the total with my good bet. The end of the world is the day when I seek justice for my parents. And at this moment, there are only 3 hours left after the outbreak of doomsday. Then Chen Lu took the King of Fa to the residence of Dubai. When passing through the entrance of the community, Chen Lu also specially parked the car and reminded Su Dao, when let others order around or so, pay attention to Q. If he said he would drive and leave. After coming to Dubai's house, I saw the cousin Chen Fei said enthusiastically, my cousin has not had breakfast yet, right? Come and talk while eating. My father has been waiting in the restaurant for a long time. However, as soon as Chen Lu was on the table, he turned on the crazy mode of showing off his meal. Nothing to mention the so-called big deal. At this time, I saw Dubai said quickly in Fei, Chen Lu eat slowly. After a while, I will talk to Dubai about your steady earning, buying and selling. But at this moment, there was a scream of screams suddenly from the kitchen. So Dubai quickly let Chen Fei check the situation in the past. Seeing this, Chen Lu immediately got up and followed the past. Means that I can also see if there is anything to help. At this moment, Chen Fei has already opened the door. But when he saw the scene in front of him, suddenly frightened and sat on the ground. I saw the maid who turned into a zombie. Zhengda will eat the steward's body. The next second heard the dynamic sound funeral. I turned my head and rushed to Chen Fei. I was so scared that he immediately got up and blocked the funeral house with the door. But when Chen Lu saw that Baiji's cousin was attacked by the funeral, he suddenly grabbed the door panel. Then pull out the D-stick in the backhand and dizzy it. Then did not hesitate to throw him away to feed the funeral house. Chen Jianan was shocked when he saw this scene. Screaming, Chen Lu, you beast. Today I will fight with you. But the words are just falling. He was knocked to the ground by Chen Lu's backhand with a stick. Chen Fei, who was bitten by a deceased family, is now. The decline of hardships is to save Chen Lu to save himself. But Chen Lu not only did not help him with a helping hand, instead he kicked his hand that he extended over. Look at the cousin who has been coughing by the funeral of the household, Chen Lu said with a smile. How can there be no audience in such a touching bridge? Say Chen Lu, the stick to the side of Chen Jian aside. Scream, no longer sleep. Get up and see your son too, right? Seeing that Chen Fei has been bitten by the deceased household, it looks like a human. Chen Jian is distressed. I hurriedly knelt down and begged Chen Lu to save your cousin Chen Fei. And it means that the matter of occupying your property has nothing to do with your cousin. It's all done by me. Hearing this, Chen Lu Lengting said, have not you done anything else that I am sorry for me? His words come out. Chen Jianan was stunned when he was stunned. He also knew about that. Seeing this, Chen Lu pulled Dubai's clothes and said, have you figured out how to answer me? My cousin cannot hold on for long. Seeing that it's so soft, Chen Jianan immediately said in a hurry, thinking about the relationship between uncle and nephew, if you are rescued now, I can guarantee not to call you to catch you. Otherwise, do not blame Dubai for turning against him. Seeing that Chen Lu is still unmoved, Chen Jianan angrily scolded Chen Lu for being a beast that is worse than a pig or a dog. But he did not finish scolding. Chen Lu slapped him with a slap. I think Fushing is worse than ZS, right? After your investment failed to go bankrupt, then my parents not only help you repay all the debts, giving away 15% of your Chen Group shares for free, make you a shareholder of 2 major besides your father. But how did you repay my parents? The Chen Group who occupied my father will not say it anymore. Buy the fears to create a car accident to murder my parents. I'm not wronged with you, right? Wenyan and Chen Jianian suddenly shouted how you knew you. Spoken. Chen Lo threw him directly at the deceased household behind him, with a stern scream. Chen Jiana has taken away the hot box lunch one after another, but this moment, the zombie suddenly turned the gun head and rushed to Chen Luo. Unexpectedly, it was fluttered on the stick. I gave an outer coke and tender in an instant, but Chen Luo did not stop here. Instead, the backhand has been pierced into the eyebrows of the funeral. A good thing is hidden in the heart of the zombies for him. The next second, Chen Luo took out a crystal from the zombie's head. After the outbreak of the end, whether it is a zombie or a power, will condense a piece of product in your head. The energy contained in the crystal. Not only can the superpowers speed up recovery, you can also improve the level. The larger the product, the stronger the energy contained in. So judging from the size of the crystal obtained by Chen Lu, it's just a too low level. Then he was about to go back to the car to pick up the Dharma King. It's really too dangerous to leave it alone now. But just walked over. Chen Lu discovered a zombie ghost ticket lying on the edge of your own car. The next second, the funeral rushed towards Chen Lua from Zhang Ye. Seeing this, Chen Lu was not at all panicked. Take out a stick with your backhand. Then he took out the crystal from the head of the funeral of the house. But when the king of Fa saw the owner risk his life to save himself, I was moved instantly. Then Chen Lu returned to the villa again with the king of Faya. Because after the outbreak of the end, survivors may awaken the power anytime, anywhere. If you encounter a funeral when you wake up, barbecue. So before that, find a place to find an AQ as the king. Then Chen Lu leisurely peeled the apple, waiting quietly for your awakening moment. But at this moment, the Dharma King on the side suddenly began to be crazy. Turn your head and take a look. But I found a golden lightning surrounded it. Chen Lu immediately walked steadily behind the sofa, because he knew this was a sign of awakening his power. If you do not hide away, maybe this dog's thing will be electrocuted into coke. Soon the Dharma King completed his awakening and gained the power of lightning, and its wisdom has also been developed again. This made Chen Lu very envious. It's just when he feels like a dog is not as good as the dog. A heart-wrenching pain spreads all over the body in an instant. Then he lost consciousness and fainted. I do not know how long it has been. He got up from the ground tremblingly. Then he immediately tested his supernatural powers with anticipation. At this time I saw Chen Lu's big wave. Space Force instantly escaped from his hands, directly exit a window hole on the wall too. But Chen Lu seemed very disappointed, because for his current harm, even the two low-level funerals cannot be second, so the urgent services make as much as possible crystals as much as possible to improve the level. The level of the power is divided into level 1 to 10. After level 10 you can impact the king level. In the last life, Chen Lu and the Fa King were both king level powermen. But after he absorbed the body of the king, the level is promoted to another level. Unfortunately, after that, Chen Luoyan could not stand loneliness, choose to end your life. So he will never let the tragedy repeat in this life. Chen Lu then trained the Dharma King. It must be familiar with the superpowers first, in order to take it out to hunt funeral households, under Chen Lu's guidance. Soon I have mastered the thunderboltic power that just awakened, so Chen Lu immediately changed into Alloy armor. He took the Dafa and walked out of the villa too much. Unexpectedly, the king of the French king showed lightning at once to deal with the funeral of the house, but it was just a loneliness. This allows the king of the just awakened power to receive D-hit. Seeing it, Chen Lu immediately comforted it. Do not be discouraged. You can help me open the two funeral houses first. Later, the king of Faya fired the kite of the funeral in accordance with the owner's instructions. Chen Lu walked in a nearby Gaudian supermarket. Then he opened the power space. Start absorbing supplies crazy immediately. This wave of 0 yuan purchase not only made him get a lot of food, I also accidentally got 7-person crystals. Then he walked out of the supermarket with satisfaction. However, I found that the king of Faya is still working hard to release the kite of the funeral household. Although this little guy is the prestigious king of Thunderbolt in the future, but this moment it still cannot handle so many funeral households alone. So Chen Lu immediately joined the battle. After the funeral is resolved, Chen Lu took the king to a nearby large cold storage nearby. In the early days it is a great time to collect materials, so how could Chen Lu let go of this God-given good opportunity? Soon one person and a dog came to the destination near the destination, but I found that this is already full of funeral houses at this moment. It seems to want to enter the cold storage. You can only solve these funerals first. However, Chen Lu just got off the car. Two silly teeth rushed towards him with grin. As a result, the little cute people will be charged with outer coke and tender by Chen Luo in the next second. But 3 more zombies suddenly rushed towards Chen Lu at the same time. Seeing this, he immediately went to the sea with a shuanglong. I called 2 funerals in an instant. But who expected the third little cute at this moment? But he opened his bloody mouth and slapped at him. Just listen. Little cute bites directly on his armor with one mouthful. As a result, cute not only collapsed 2 incisions, Chen Lu also flew out with a stick bucket backhand. With the blessing of Alloy armor and stick, Chen Lu can be said to have been through the army. The armor does not stick to the body. In a short while, he easily solved all the funeral. He can be described as a lot of gains in this battle. After 0 gas, more than 6 crystals were taken down. Then Chen Lu did not directly enter the cold storage. Instead, a heavy truck was found nearby. He also shouted with a smirk, "The Dharma King, and come up quickly. I'll take you for a walk." Then he stepped directly to the throttle and stepped on the bottom. It crashed straight into the cold storage door at a speed of 100 yards. This scared the Dharma King beside him very much, barking constantly. But after breaking open the door, Chen Lu did not slow down. Instead, he stepped on the accelerator and crashed into the army of the deceased inside. This crazy. The king of the side beside the side calls the master, who is too cruel. What Chen Lu does not think is, there are 3 survivors upstairs at this moment. Observe his every move in secret. At this time, I saw one of the women excitedly and said, wait until he finishes the zombies. Let's go down and beg him to take us out of here. But the man next to him did not think so. Means why people will help you? You can tell that this guy is a cruel person based on his style of conduct. It's obviously for our supplies. Why not let's do it all the time? Give him a man who stalks a cicada Arl behind. Wait for him to kill him directly. Then he grabbed his truck and supplies. At this moment, Chen Lu also successfully resolved the army of funeral. But when he collected crystals with joy, the girl suddenly walked in front of Chen Lu. Thank you for saving us. Can you take us away here? Chen Lu just wanted to ask how many people there are here. However, the two suddenly captured on the ground. I advise you to hand over all the supplies. Other wild dudes now. And Chen Luoyans, I think it seems that the words of Virgin Mary, the end of the world, are you, is really not empty-hearted. It turns out that kindness is the thing that harms people in this end of the world. Then do not blame me with ruthless hands and spicy hands. At the same, seeing the king of the lord of his master's life, immediately rushed towards the 3. Seeing that Chen Lu also took the opportunity to take out 2 sticks from the power space, then did not hesitate to send 2 little giants to the prefecture. A scared girl immediately turned her head and ran, but Chen Lu did not mean to chase. It's grinning and said with a smile, could it be that you have run 4 legs? Looky now. Spoken. The king poured the girl on the ground. After a flash of light band lightning, the girl immediately hated the northwest, and the next step is the excitement of sweeping the goods. But what made him unexpected was, the supplies here can be called a dazzling. Not only does it have a lot of chickens, ducks, fish and fish, there are also a variety of seafood and aquatic products. Even condiments are all here. Chen Lu is not polite. All these materials are directly put in the power space. This trip is full of gains. I won the food of 7 tons in one breath. Then Chen Lu took the king to return to the home first, because there's also a life of his life, Su Dezu. On the way home, he met a surviving test that wanted to take a car. Dinking took a look. The man still had an iron stick in his pocket. Obviously this guy is not a good stubble. So Chen Lu opened the accelerator directly. At this moment, I heard the person say angrily, boy, I remember you. Do not let the little master see you in the future. Otherwise you cannot. This words come out. Chen Lu gloomy face in parking. I thought since he has this idea, then I keep you. All threats must be stretched out in the cradle. At this moment, the man has come over again. Seeing this, Chen Lu immediately turned his eyes to the Dharma King. The next second this little guy will jump out of the car with a heart-seeking manner. Men are not ink either. Get up the iron rod and go to the head of Fafa. At the same time, the little guy also spit out a lightning from his mouth. As a result, the dog was not. On the contrary, the man was a coke by French king. The moment the man fell to the ground, there was suddenly Chen Lu's voice behind him. Never D in the end of the world cannot have any kind of kindness to the enemy. King of Fang heard it. I immediately understood what the master meant. Immediately I will eliminate the troubles forever. Then one person and one dog drove back to the community. Because heavy trucks cannot enter, Chen Lu is also worried that this mobile castle will be stolen by other survivors. So he had a sudden inspiration. Let the king of Phi go to the surrounding area at a funeral to see the car for him. After doing all this, Chen Lu immediately walked into the community and began to look for the big pillar. Although Chen Lu remembers the last time when the doomsday came, Su Dezu hid in the villa area. But he cannot remember which building is it, so he had to shout loudly on Daju's name. Even if this will attract too much funeral households, but for this brother who once gave up his life to save himself, he was completely out of. The pillar that was hiding in the villa soon heard Chen Lu's call. He just wanted to go out and meet Chen Lu. However, a girl around me was stopped in time. The girl immediately said that this person must be sick. Such loud will only attract all the nearby funerals nearby. Brother Dachu, you cannot go out. He will harm. Spoken. Immediately a few funeral houses ran over here. Can be the next second. These funeral houses all poured under Chen Lu's D-stick. Seeing this, Daju hurriedly said that you should rest assured now. How could Brother Chen be so powerful as... After saying that, Dazu shouted downstairs, Brother Chen, I'm here. But when he saw a girl standing beside Daju, Chen Lu's face suddenly became iron green. I thought to myself, how could I forget Chen Jing, the heartfelt man? You made us so miserable in your previous life. To test whether the tap water after the end of the world has been contaminated, she actually secretly used her savior to do the experiment. Every time you distribute food, she will hide some of it in advance. Then in front of the honest big pillar, pretend to be hungry. Then he cheated out the one in his hand. What's more abominable is that she still provokes from Chen Lu and Su Dazu. Always hold one behind your back. In her previous life, the brothers were played with and applauded. Chen Lu, who is working back now, has even her heart. But he knew very well that it was not the time to do it. You get snapped. It will definitely make Dazu have an opinion of himself, so he wants Dazu to see the woman's face clearly no matter what. Then Chen Lu suggested going to his home for a rest, then discuss the next response measures. Seeing the green tea girl quickly stepped forward to talk. Hello, Brother Chen. My name is Chen. Our surname is Chen. Maybe we're one of us 500 years ago. But Chen Lu ignored her attentiveness. Instead, he dragged the pillar and turned away. Although Chen Jing was so angry that she gritted her teeth and cut her teeth, but to survive, she still followed her and stopped happily. After coming to Chen Lu's house, Daju and Chen Jing's stomachs were so hungry that they were roaring. Seeing this, Chen Lu hurriedly said that you should sit for a while first. I'll get some food for you. Then Chen Lu took out a few pieces of bread from the power space, looking at the Dharma King beside him. Let you pit my brother last life? See how I rectify you today? Speaking of Chen Lu, he took the toast on the fart of Fa King's fart, then he added that piece and said that this is the only food at home. Eat a lot. I'll give it to Daju 2 pieces, you have no objection, although she said this was reasonable. But I was complaining that I had been hungry for 3 days. Why do you want to give him one more? Then she dazzled the feeding toast. This shocked the Dharma King beside him. I thought this girl is really a ruthless person. I can eat so fragrant that I can eat the bread with my fart. Chen Lu also smiled thorny when he saw this scene. Although spoofing her really hates, but you still have to solve this scourge as soon as possible. So Chen Lodi discussed that let's go to the supermarket to get some food and come back, then find a way to leave here. Hearing this, Daju hurriedly said that Brother Chen was considerate. What do I need to do? At this time Chen Lu said in a deep voice, due to the large number of funerals outside, so we can only obtain wisely and not attack. Or not. Chen Jing, you are responsible for leaving the funeral house. How about me and I am in the supermarket and I get food in the supermarket? His words come out. Chen Jing was frustrated in place. Two shouting Chenji, do not. Where can I run a funeral house? Are not you asked me to send? He heard that Chen Ludang said that I would lead to open the funeral house. You can go to the supermarket with Daju to get food, right? Chen Jing immediately pretended to be a pitiful look. I had a piece of toast in 3 days. There is really no strength. Brother Daju, please help others talk. At this time I saw Chen Lu said coldly, you cannot do anything if you cannot do anything. And I did not take a sip of water this day. I do not know if the tap water is contaminated by the virus. This said, Chen Jing was suddenly unwilling. I want to use me as a little wrap. I just worry about the water source being polluted. I have been to endure without drinking water, although I still have water and food in my bag, but never let them know. Then she said aggrieved. Brother Chen, do not embarrass me. What should I do if this water is poisonous? Are not you raising a dog? Just let it. The king suddenly fired when he heard it. Immediately he grinned and grinned. Seeing that the girl immediately blocked the bag in front of her, just listen. The bag was torn apart by the Dharma King. Then the food inside went out and fell out. Chen Lu was not polite to her either. Pick up a bottle of drink directly and dazzle up. I also handed a bread to Daju and said, I did not expect this woman to hide so much food. Let's not be polite to her. Only when you are full can you get the energy to go to the supermarket to get supplies. At this moment, Daju really saw through this woman's true face. Say myself 3 or 5 times to save her. Hidden so many foods, do not give me a lot of food. When I think of this big pillar, I am angry. Then he did not hesitate to pick up the bread and dazzle. At this moment, Chen Jing still wants to rush over to stop the pillar. Unexpectedly, Chen Lu made a trip, fluttering and fell to the ground. Then she started to cry. Who allows you to eat my food? All of them spit out the old lady. At this time I saw Chen Lu said coldly, why are you crying? If we do not eat enough, how can we have the energy to find supplies? Do not worry about eating yours. When we come back from the supermarket, we will pay you back 10 times. His words come out. Chen Jing immediately changed his face. It means I do not want to take it out for you. I just forgot in my bag. This says that Chen Lu is also speechless for a while. This woman can really play this woman. Since that's the case, I'll give you another dose of strong medicine. Must make me silly brother deeply realize that people's hearts are sinister. Then Chen Lu patted Daju on the shoulder and said, the pepper first. Let's go half an hour later. Then Chen Lu brought Fang to the room, instructed to go nearby to attract several deceased households to their homes. Then he took out a few more garlic and squeezed it into juice. For a while, the whole house was filled with a pungent garlic flavor. At this time, Chen Lu walked out with 2 bowls of garlic juice and said, Daju, see what a good thing has prepared for you. Do not look at this thing that smells pungent. This is a magic weapon to deal with the silence of the silence. I saw someone outside before that with a bunch of garlic hanging around his neck. As a result, I really dare not approach that person. But now garlic juice is only enough for 2 people. Big pillars, we splash garlic juice on our body before going out. Chen Jing, you are waiting for this at home and we will come back. But at this moment, suddenly a roar of a devastating household came from the door. Seeing this, Chen Luli is about to spill the garlic juice on his body and urged Dashu to use the remaining bowl quickly. The funeral is about to break in, but at this moment, the silly boy fell into deep thought. Although he is very disgusted with this woman now, but he still could not bear to watch her being coughed by the desolates. Little did you know that Chen Jing was tinging the bowl of garlic juice at this moment. Daju was about to pick up the garlic juice and send it to her. Unexpectedly, the other party was rushed first. I saw that she did not hesitate to hold the garlic juice and pour it on herself. Daju, who saw this scene, was stunned on the spot. I originally made you let you make you. You actually ran over to grab. At this time, Chen Luoyu said earnestly, see, brother, this is human nature. Therefore, you must not have a virgin heart in the end of times. For some people you will be nice to her. All I got wait. Do you think it is too good to spill garlic juice on your body? Forgot to tell you. In fact, the funeral is extremely sensitive to the smell of garlic. Today said, knowing Chen Jing who was pitted, just shouting immediately, do I want to live wrong? At this time I saw Chen Lu said coldly, who does not want to live? But you should not see my brother honest. Just catch him to bully. Said Chen Luo took a set of equipment to the big pillar in the power space. Let him go to the room quickly and change this. The funeral will break in soon. Seeing this, Chen Jingli begged Chen Luo to forgive her this time. I will listen to you in the future. You want to do anything to me? Hearing this, Chen Luo immediately said that I want you to go. Do you do it? His words come out. Chen Jingli said in a hurry. You sick? Where did I offend you? At this moment, the funeral has also smelled the smell into the living room. Have not waited for her to finish the words. 5 or 6 zombies rushed up and bite at her. Chen Lu is standing on the side to watch. Watching this woman is completely cold. He took action to deal with all the bereaved households. Then he called Dazhu to help clean up the scene. After throwing these funerals out of the villa, Chen Lu, the old six, called the king again. He actually handed over the task of cleaning blood stains in the living room to a dog and warned it to eat after finishing work. After saying that, Chen Lu asked Dazhu to wash his hands and have a meal. But Dazhu said that we are not going to the supermarket to get food, otherwise how can I eat it? However, Zhu has not finished the words yet. A table of food appeared in front of him out of thin air. Then Chen Lu started a serious nonsense. He explained that he awakened the space abilities before the end of the end. So the supplies that are a little in advance are stored in the power space, and these foods are taken out of the power space. There's also a big pillar. Do you feel what changes have happened in your body? He heard that he immediately said that he suddenly felt a headache last night. After that I feel that the power is much larger than before. Chen Lu told him that this is the expression of power awakening. What you awaken is the power of the power. Come on, let's not talk about this for now. 2 grand dry rice 2 dash. Seeing that, Dazhu quickly said that brother Chen, you're so polite. I also brought out so many delicious dishes to entertain me. Let's save some food. But Chen Lu said that they were all his brothers. What are you polite to me? Is not there any Dharma King who did not eat? After he finishes his work, he asks him to eat together. Hearing this, the Dharma King who was wiping the floor suddenly burst into tears. I did not expect that the master was so kind to me. But is this floor wiping really something that a dog should do after the wine is full? Chen Lu took out a few pieces of body and handed them to Dazhu. Let him absorb the energy inside to improve his strength. Stop immediately. Then Chen Lu also returned to the room and started to absorb the crystal. But what made him unexpected was absorbing human blocks in one previous life. But this time it has been absorbed continuously for 20 yuan. I do not know where the limit of absorption will be. How bowls and forks are this man who compete for not only the native dog raised is comparable to the beast Pikachu. Instantly, you can make the funeral of the funeral into Coke in an instant. I also awaken the extremely rare space power. Not only do you have the top 2 terminal specific skills Void Walking, it can also condense the Void Sword of damage too. It's a pity that his current level is too low, cannot summon the Void Sword for a long time to fight. Only 3 seconds of real man. He was so tired that he fell on the bed. You need to know that this is the skill that he has only been grasped in the 7th level of his previous life, and this life actually rose to the 2nd level. He can barely condense the Sword of the Void. If this goes like this, walking in the void of the 9 levels of my previous life, you can easily control the level 4 of this life. There is also the ultimate recruitment of Yuan after the king level. Maybe you can get advanced development. Early the next morning, Dazhu told Chen Lu that the good news did not wait. Brother Chen, you teach me it's really effective. After I absorbed 7 crystals, power has been greatly improved. The king on the side also excitedly screamed 9 sounds in a row. It also indicates that it also absorbs 9 pieces of crystals. This can stun the big pillar. Quickly said that this dog is so strong, actually more absorbed than I absorbed. Chen Lu did not answer his question about this. It took a set of equipment from the power space and handed it to him. Means that after eating breakfast and replace this on this, let's go to the granary together for some supplies. Then they came to the parking lot in the community. I saw the heavy trucks surrounded by deceased households. Big pillars immediately took out a stick to prepare for a big job, but Chen Lu was stopped in time. It means that this kind of little thing is left to the king to do it. Then the Dharma King immediately started its old job. This skilled strange skills cannot help but sigh. It seems that my role is not as good as this dog. Seeing this, Chen Lu hurriedly comforted me and said, I will not compete with dogs. I cannot do a lot of things it can do. Each director. Then they drove to the granary. Strangely, the granary is surprisingly quiet. Even a funeral house did not see it, but they found a bone not far away. This makes Chen Luton feel bad. Although the funeral will bite humans, but they do not eat people. The only thing that can make people chew so clean is mutated. For example, mice or mants. They are all social animals. So no matter which number it is, it will definitely not be small. Thinking of this, Chen Lu hurriedly called Dazhu to retreat immediately. Can be the time of time. With the noisy clay after a while, a large number of black mutant mice appeared in front of them. At the critical moment, it was the Dharma King who stood up again, although the dog takes a spare time with a mouse. Unexpectedly, there was a mouse king in the mouse group. With the order of the rat king, all mice immediately adjusted the gun head. A fierce offensive was launched against Chen Lu and the others. Although the mouth sticks to these low-level mutant mice without pressure, but still cannot stand the opponent's many rats and many powerful people, after a fierce wheel battle. Chen Lu and Dazhu gradually showed signs of fatigue. Soon Dazhu fell to the ground due to exhaustion. Seeing the mouse, Wang Li immediately found the opportunity, shooting at him at 200 yards. Fortunately, Dazhu was quick-witted and quick-handed to resist the Rat King's deadly attack, but what he never expected was, this guy is actually immune to electric shock. High-pressure mouth sticks cannot play any effect on it. Have not waited for him to figure out the situation. The Rat King has already appeared strangely in front of him. Then this guy opened his bloody mouth. It bit directly on Dazhu's neck. Fortunately, there is alloy armor protection. Dazhu was fortunate to retrieve a life. Chen Lu saw this scene and was very young. If you come again, the armor will be bitten by this guy. So Chen Lu immediately took out 2 stakes and threw them at the rat group. Under the temptation of food, this group of mice immediately rushed to the beef. But at this moment, the Rat King opened the blood basin again to bite the big pillar. Seeing that Chen Lu quickly condensed the sword of the void rushed to the Rat King. At this moment, it also feels a quieter after it comes. Have not waited for it to escape yet. Chen Lu suddenly stopped his waist to break. And Kunlong has no head of mouse group. It was quickly solved by 2 people using D sticks. Then Chen Lu took out a 3rd-grade body from the Mouse King's body. And this guy's Sincessor is also a rare treasure. It is an excellent material for making weapons. It's a pity that Chen Lu pulled out for a long time and did not pull it off for a long time. So he immediately called Dazhu to help. A blink of an eye. Dazhu pulled the 2 big door teeth from the Rat King's mouth. Then Chen Lu opened the power space. Began to absorb the supplies in the granary. Crazy. This can be stunned by the big pillar aside. Quickly asked Brother Chen, how big is your power space for your power space? But who knows that Chen Lu talked lightly and wrote a word. Not very big there. It's about a Pacific Ocean, right? There's also a big pillar. Keep this secret from me. We will become the most famous. Wen Yandazhu quickly expressed assured that Brother Chen, even if the knife is on my neck, I will never reveal a word. Although Chen Lu and the others have gained a lot of rewards this time, he took down tens of thousands of tons of food in a tone. But after this battle, he also deeply realized the importance of strength. If it was not a brief condensing the sword of the void, then I am afraid that we will come back today. So after returning home, he immediately set up a cultivation plan. He also said that he would never go out before he became a level 3 ability, and in the next day, he absorbs crystals every day and nights to improve strength. With his unremitting efforts, this also allows him to condense the time of the Sword of the Void, suddenly increased to 20 seconds. The level of Dazhu and Fang also broke through to the 2nd level, although everyone's strength has been made rapidly these days. But the kitchen was made by these D-men. This cannot help but think of Chen Lu's kitchen made a Miyu. If there is a secret path, she will take care of my life and live. This girl not only looks beautiful, it's also very profitable to do the work. Cooking is even more absolutely a must. I just do not know how she is now. I remember she was a chef at a 6-star hotel nearby. She should work in the hotel when the end of the day broke out. Thinking of this, Chen Luomi proposed to go to that hotel to explore the truth. Several people then embarked on the road to find Miyu. However, after searching, their deceased killed a lot of them. I do not even want to ask someone to ask, but at this moment, a waiter suddenly appeared in their field of vision. 2 dads to save me. As we all know, the end of time must first be the Holy Mother of S, but this woman is not faithful. Not only did the Virgin's heart salvage a lot of people, fortunately, I took out my food to share with everyone. But who knew that these animals turned against each other faster than turning a book? Not only did I not thank her for her life-saving grace, I also think that Miyu has too much space to do with her death. See Miyu dare to resist. The hands-on female stars are increasingly intensified. I even hurriedly threw her out to feed the funeral house, so one less person divides his food with us. What makes Miyu never expect is, this group of people just saved just now, no one stands out and help her. It's better to compete with this wolf-hearted dog-lung fox. No matter how she begged, this group of people too still launched her room without humanity. At this moment Miyu finally saw their ugly face. I hate why I was so soft-hearted to save this group of animals. If someone is willing to help me out of this bad breath now, I do not hesitate to pay any price. But at this moment, 2 funeral houses suddenly rushed to her. Seeing this scene, Miyu also gave up resistance. Closed your eyes in despair. Just at this time, Chen Lu appeared in time to rescue her in a foot-footed flying house. At this time Chen Lu said excitedly, "Kitchen, you're fine, it's really great. I came here to save you at the risk of my life. Do not be hard. Brother takes you away immediately." This remark suddenly moved Miyu to do not want. Sankian's feeling of NQ has instantly rushed to her heart. What she was about to say, but Chen Nu covered his mouth. Said what she can say later? Because at this moment, a large number of deceased households have surrounded them. Seeing this, the two immediately started a fight with the bereaved family. In a short while, they settled all the funeral households cleanly. And this scene was also seen by the people in the room. Seeing that the two are so powerful, the female star immediately came out of the room. Said shamelessly, "I guess both of them are my fans. Thank you for saving me in danger of life. Love you." But who knows that Chen Lu did not care about her. Instead, he turned and lifted up the Meiyu behind him. At this time, Chen Lu also noticed Meiyu's emotional fluctuations after seeing these people. Tears cannot stop flowing out. presumably what must be suffered. So Chen No quickly asked her what happened just now. Tell me, I will make it for you. Mei Yu can no longer suppress her inner emotions. Han Tao started to cry. Then she took what had just happened. The original book told Chen Lu. At this time, a man in a suit said with a smile, "This woman plays a life. Leave her alone. As long as I can send my safe home, I'll give you 200,000 now." But the words are just falling. Dad just slapped him in the face directly. It's amazing. What I hate in my life is the one who will be revenge on you. But a man with a big mouth, but still endlessly said, "It was really wrong just now. You see your anger, you can also help your friends out. Can you consider my proposal just now?" Cheng Lu did not respond to this, but said with a smile on his face, "Originally you are so good to my friends today. I should get you on the spot. But Xiao is in a good mood today. Just give you an exception to spare you a dog's life. I will tie you all up in a while. As for whether you can live, it depends on you," said the rush of men who heard the suits of the suits of the suit. "What is the difference between you doing this and Deju immediately said that when you left Mei Yu out. What is the difference between her? This is even more scared that the female star kneels on the spot. Asked Chen Lu for her this time. "You can do whatever you do. I can follow you to basketball now." But I did not wait for her to finish the words. Chen Lu used his socks that had been worn for 2.5 years, block her stinky mouth, then let the big pillar tied her up. Several people walked out of the hotel. After returning home, Chen Lu asked Mei Yu, "Too, did you feel what changes in your body? Are there any special abilities in awakening?" Hearing this, Mei Yu immediately said that his head suddenly hurt yesterday. Then there was a burning sensation instantly spreading all over the whole body. "I do not know if I have obtained abilities." Chen Lu told her that this is the sign of awakening the power. "I now teach you how to control the power." Then Mei Yu followed Chen Lu's method. A ball of flame condensed in the palm of your hand. This can make Chen Lu bloom. The secret road can be considered a treasure this time. Unexpectedly, she is a fire-type supernatural. It is said that the dishes from the power flames will be more delicious. So Chen Lu could not wait to take out the ingredients and let her show her hands. In a short while, Mei Yu made a large table of food with fire. Seeing this, the two of them immediately dazzled up and dazzled. How many people to eat this meal are called an enjoyable? One after another praised Mei Yu's craftsmanship. It is absolutely bad. After the wine is full, Chen Lu arranged a room for Mei Yu to live in. "And say what you miss, just tell me. We will be a family in the future, and in the next few days." Chen Lu is absorbing the crystal every day to improve his strength. So Chen Lu decided to go out to collect some crystals first, then go and see the two sisters Millie and Miling. It's the 10th day after the outbreak of the Doomsday. If you do not throw olive branches to them anymore, it is very likely to be set aside by others. Then Chen Lu called Dezu. Then he handed 2 sticks to Mei Yu to defend himself. After a few words with her, Chen Lu took Daju and the Dharma King out of the community. Soon they hunted his deceased households all the way. More than 700 crystals were obtained. At this moment they also came to the community where the Mai sisters are located, so Chen Lu immediately ordered the Dharma King to go to the 2nd floor to see the situation. "If you smell the breath of living people at home, you will scream twice." Did not wait for Chen Lu to finish talking, but the Dharma King suddenly rushed into the grass beside him. Then it made a fortune from the flower bed. "Look at this cat, so cute." As a cat lover, Chen Lu immediately signaled to the Dharma King not to hurt it, but at this moment, a call for help suddenly spread into Chen Lu's mind. "Let this stupid dog in your house let me go." Chen Lu, who reacted, realized this is a cat who awakens the ability of soul communication. Generally, only high-level spiritual power will have this ability, so it must be collected as used. So Chen Lu immediately saved the cat from the mouth of the Dharma King, and Akas the King of Fa, "How can you be so rude?" The cat next to the cat also scolded the King of the Fa, who did not talk about wood. "I did not recruit it without provoking it. Your dog will bite me when you come up. It's really hateful." Hearing the words of Chen Luoli, the parallelism is just, "Are there any kittens? Are you a stray cat? Do you want to go home with me? I have endless dried fish here." But the words are just falling. Mali suddenly appeared and snatched the cat. "Drink a big drink. What do you want to do for our rice?" Unexpectedly, Rice is struggling to call him not a bad guy. Then the rice broke free of restraint. "Run, Chen Lu, please ask him to give himself a small fish dry. I'm hungry for 3 days." He heard that Chen Luoyan move. "I think it is better to take the opportunity to brush a wave in front of them. If I give it directly, they will definitely think that I am incompatible, and they have been here for so long. I have not seen Mai Ling. It seems she should not be at home. Then start with your sister Rice Grain." So Chen Lu said there was a large supermarket outside. "How about we join forces to get supplies? There will definitely be small fish in the supermarket." The Rice immediately said that the proposal was very good. "I can feel that he is not malicious." Rice Grains still do not seem to believe this stranger. At this time I saw the Rice impatiently saying, Then you can wait for me at home. I'll bring you some food back." Hearing this, Miley quickly said that who said I would not go. "You guys wait for me here. I will." In a short while, Miley appeared in front of everyone wearing an iron pot and holding a stick. Chen Lu, who saw this scene, almost did not spray in old blood. It's obvious this girl has no experience hunting sorrowful households. Otherwise, she would not be wearing this equipment to fight them. Then, the few of them briefly introduced themselves to each other. However, just as they were about to set off to gather supplies, a group of mourning households suddenly lunged at them. Seeing this, the 2 men immediately shielded Millie. Millie quickly cast beneficial skills on them. Instantly, they gained a 30% strength boost. Under the blessing of Ruff, soon the two of them solved most of the deceased households like cutting vegetables. But when a funeral is prepared to flutter the rice grains after 2, Chen Lu hurriedly shouted to retreat, "Give me to solve." Unexpectedly, this proposal was rejected by rice grains. She said, "I cannot always hide behind my sister. I have to face all this early." Seeing this, Daju immediately handed the iron rod in his hand to Millie, and say that this is better than your rolling pin. After receiving the iron rod, the rice grains quickly exerted their strength to increase their strength. Then she knocked on the head of the funeral with a stick of her backhand. The funeral house has not even had time to react. The vermin-like sticks greeted it one after another. This scene directly shocked Chen Lu on the side. "Now, sister, you are too sturdy, right?" Rice grains at react. Suddenly I was spit out by my own wave of operation. Seeing that, Chen Lu immediately sent a bottle of water to rice grains and comfort her. "Just now you did well. You will get used to it slowly in the future." This action also instantly made Mila feel good about Chen Lu. Then everyone came to the supermarket together. After solving the funeral inside, Chen Lu motioned for rice grains to choose the food you like. "If you can get as much as you can," and Chen Lu found the little fish dried for rice according to the agreement. This can make the kitten happy. But at this moment, the King of Phi suddenly called for the rice grain in the distance and kept calling. When Mila heard the scream, she immediately turned around and looked behind her. The rice grain found that the funeral house is approaching step by step. This scares. Pick up the shopping bag on the side and go to the funeral house, then get up and run away. Unexpectedly, it was hit by Chen Lu, who came on the face of. Watching the funeral of the house behind the rice grain, Chen Lu suddenly shocked a cold sweat, because he clearly remembers, this is the devourer that has only begun to appear after the middle of the end. Unexpectedly, this kind of monster appeared in the early stages of the end of the world. Not only do they have amazing power and defense, you can also attack enemies by blind explosion, so we have to fight quickly. Never give it a chance to self-destruct. Seeing this, Chen Lu did not hesitate at all. The backhand condenses the void sword. At this time, the Dharma King also took advantage of his unpreparedness to give it a set of 5 lightning whips. Although Teacher Mei's unique skills are not very harmful, but the insult is extremely strong, immediately pulled the hatred of the funeral household. The moment the devourer was about to turn around to attack the king, Chen Lu immediately came behind it with a win its position. Before Xiang Shikao could react, Chen Lu just split it into 2 halves of a clean sword. Then he used his body to block the bloody scene for rice. And this wave of operation also allowed him to completely capture the heart of rice grains. Looking at this man who is handsome and gentleman with a gentleman in front, the heart of rice grains is like a little rabbit. Plop and jump nonstop. At this time, I saw Chen Lu touched her head and said, saying, "Let's set up a team together, right? I can better protect you in the future." I heard that the rice grains also nodded with a blushing face. This can make Chen Lu happy. So he quickly invited rice grains and rice to visit his house. "We must eat a good celebration today." Unexpectedly, rice grains said that I still want to go home and wait for my sister first. In case she comes back, I cannot see me. I will definitely be anxious. Otherwise, it's still next time. Listen, quickly ask why rice grains should refuse Chen Lu's invitation. Or now you left a note for Mei Ling at home. And I have an expectation that your sister will not go home today. Let's go to Chen Lu's house for a big meal together. After the soft grinding and hard bubbles of Chen Lu and rice, then everyone came to Chen Lu's villa together. In a short while, Mei Yu prepared a large table of food for the Muji at the invitation of Chen Lu. Mei Yu's cooking skills also completely held their stomach. It's so delicious while eating. After eating and drinking, the rice grains quickly expressed the gratitude to Chen Lu. But it's time to go back. I do not want my sister to worry about me. I heard that Chen Lomi said that you are not at ease when you go back alone. Actually, we live the same. Why not let us mortals move to your community as well? In this way, everyone also has a photo with each other. As soon as the rice grains listen, it means that it is so happy to decide. Then Chen Lu asked Tei's family to pack up their luggage immediately. We are ready to move. Then everyone drove to Millie's community. But just as Chen Lu and others were about to find a house nearby, Mila suddenly called them and said that there are more than 200 square meters in my family. If you do not dislike, you move over and live with us. His words come out. Chen Lu agreed without thinking about it. This is a good opportunity to get the moon in the near water tower. When Mei Ling comes back, she will be able to recruit her for a while. After returning home, Millie immediately began to allocate rooms for everyone. Mei Yu and Dazu were both arranged to stay in the guest room, and Chen Lu was arranged in her sister Mei Ling's room. What Chen Lu did not expect was, the moment he pushed away, the eye-catching was lying on the bed with a meal. I still murmured in my mouth, how can you come? Then he started acting cute in front of Chen Lu, and said that they will sleep with you in the future. From today on I will not sleep with Millie. Hearing Chen Lu quickly stated that you are really a slag cat. With the new owner you forget the old owner, but it's not when you are sleeping. Brother takes you to practice together. After saying that, Chen Lu took out a few pieces of rice from the space, until the way it absorbs. And the other side at this moment, Mei Ling is rushing back with the food that is hard to find. She was also accompanied by 2 male classmates in the same class. It's just that these 2 men cannot help a little. As soon as I saw the morning ruler, I pushed Mei Ling to the front of 2. Then the 2 men hid far away. This makes her feel very speechless. This way Mei Ling is too tired enough. Fortunately, at this moment they have come to the door of the community. At the same Chen Lu is discussing what to eat tonight. Just when Chen Lu asked Ma Yu if he would make baking, there was a familiar voice suddenly from downstairs. Are you home? Take a look at what the sister brought you back to you. This can be happy and bad. He quickly got up and ran downstairs. Then he plunged into his sister Mai Ling's arms. Of course, not only one rice grains. Chen Lu is also looking forward to the stars and the moon. Finally, I hope this blood-colored rose Ling Gigi is looking back. However, when Chen Lu went downstairs, Chen Lu noticed the small followers behind Mai Ling. At this moment, the two are still loudly whispering the younger sister who is worthy of being a school flower. This posture is better than her sister Mai Ling. Our brother must win this pair of sisters. And who's the man? Why I never heard Mai Ling said that there is a brother or brother? Seeing Mai Ling also quickly asked who the sister he was. Immediately after hearing my grace, I introduced Chen Lu to Mai Ling. Sister, this is Chen Lu, brother. During this time you are not. Thanks to Chen Lu, brother, to take care of me. If it were not for him, I would be hungry with rice long ago. But here, two small followers suddenly sent me snacks to the rice grains. I thought that the girl Mai Ling ignored us anyway. Let's start with her sister first. Seeing the rice grains quickly said that you are not hungry. You better keep it for yourself. But these two licking dogs are still tangling Camille endlessly. Mai Ling, who saw this scene, was speechless for a while. I thought to myself that I was also in a team with these two goods. It is not enough to drag me on the road. Now I still have to disaster my sister. You must get rid of these two burdens as soon as possible. Then the two guys followed everyone upstairs happily. Seeing this, Chen Lu hurriedly asked if there was still rice in Miyu's house. Let's cook a little more today. Do not waste water and wash rice. Miyu was stunned when he heard this. Did not you just say that was delicious? How to make the cooking again? Also, do not we usually have to wash rice first for our meals? But when Miyu turned back to see this battle, instantly expressed the meaning of Chen Lu. But unexpectedly, these two people did not treat themselves as outsiders at all. I rushed into the kitchen directly when I entered the door, watching Miyu cooking rice with mineral water. The two of them snatched the bucket of water without saying a word. Then I drank directly at my mouth and drank it. This can make Miyuki not light. Can you just shout you to pour it in a cup? How do you drink like you like this? This words come out. The two do not let go, no convergence. Instead, I also accuse Miyu of fuss. What happened to drinking you? We are not sick again. Do you know how much sin we have suffered along the way? The two then looked at the Fa King aside again. Then I shouted that Mai Ling, there is still a dog in your family who is infected, and also standing on a moral height. They accused Chen Lu of. The little brother is not my brother, said you. You do not look at what kind of world is outside. People are almost hungry. Do you actually waste food to feed dogs like this? Listen to my advice. Put this dog and make up for everyone. This made the Dharma King angry. Immediately, I grinned at the two of them and started to be crazy. But unexpectedly, the two guys who saw this scene became even more excited. I quickly shouted to see how fierce this dog is. Who is responsible for this, if Mai Ling or Mai La? Today I must do this beast. And these words are also an angered Chen Lu. Immediately, I came to these two goods and said that you farted. I can use my own food to feed the dog, can you control it? You live by the seaside. Wenyan said immediately. Mai Ling listened to this boy. Is this boy talking about human beings? We do not eat alone. Is it wrong to improve the food for everyone? Let you return this escort. Let's set up a little bit of sin, right? What happened to his dog meat? But I've not waited for him to finish the words. Mai Ling suddenly stopped my mouth and closed my mouth. Do not think I do not know. What are your thoughts about following me? And who is the way to escort this way? Do you have no point? As soon as you encounter danger, you will push me ahead. Really, man is not a man. Our cooperation is here, right? Turn right and walk slowly without sending. These two guys immediately said in anger. Well, Yulinji, I did not expect you to be like this. Help you find your sister and cross the river to disassemble the bridge, right? I wrote down this account. It is necessary to pay back sooner or later. Say the two goods and walked out of the room angrily. However, Chen Lu did not calculate these two idiots. Actually dare to let me talk ruthlessly in front of me. People who may pose a threat to themselves in the future. Chen Lu is absolutely D will not let the tiger return to the mountain. Then he immediately turned his eyes on the Dharma King. I'll leave the next thing to you to solve. The next second, the Dharma King understood it and chased it out. At this moment, the two guys were still muttering how to retaliate against Chen Lu and others. Little did you know that the self-contained life has come to an end at this moment. At this time, the Dharma King suddenly roared and stopped the two of them. The two guys were immediately happy when they saw this scene. How this stupid dog actually delivered the goods to our door? We're in for a treat today, my friend. But before they could finish their sentence, the Dharma King unleashed a lightning-fast 5-whip combo. The two of them did not even have time to scream before mysteriously receiving their piping hot takeout boxes. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mai Ling was happily eating her rice. A large pot of rice was dazzled by her. Seeing everyone's frightened sunlight, Mai Ling quickly explained the embarrassment. I'm sorry, I'm so hungry. I could not help but eat a little too much. I go to find you some foods back. But who knew that Chen Lu had just talked and replied without any more? Give us a seat after you finish eating. We're ready to eat. To make this unruly blood-red rose submit to him, he had a brilliant idea. He immediately ordered over a dozen of Mai Ling's favorite dishes right in front of her. Then he called for Mila, gesturing for her to come to his room to talk. But just walked in the room, Chen Lu directly pinned Mila against the wall with asterisk Waldong asterisk, then asked, Brother Chen Lu did not treat you as an outsider. Not only is it for you to eat and wear, but also to protect you all the time, right? All this is because you are willing to follow me. That's why Chen Lu brother will be so good to you. But those who do not listen to me will definitely not get the same treatment. Do you think your sister will listen to me like you? I heard that the rice grains should be a table recording. It will definitely not. Because my sister has been particularly opinionated since she was a child. Besides, she is not familiar with you now. I will definitely not trust you. As soon as Chen Lu heard it, he said that you think I and Mai Ling, who is more suitable for everyone to make a living in this last life. Spoken. The rice grains say Chen Lu's name without thinking. Brother Chen Lu not only has courage and conspiracy, I will share food with you selflessly. So the captain is Chen Lu brother. This is a bit embarrassed to praise Chen Lu. Then he said seriously, we must let your sister recognize me first. Otherwise, when you encounter danger in the future. So before Milling recognizes me, I will never give her anything to eat anything. This is also for, as long as she is willing to listen obediently, I naturally will not treat her, agree with the rice grains of Chen Lux's brain. Must let my sister listen to brother Chen Lu. It's all for the sake of my sister. At the same time, Mai Ling saw Mayu, who was going to cook, hurriedly disgusted. Just stir-fry 2 dishes, and you can put more water when you cook. Do you know how precious the ingredients are so fresh now? We only have 5 people in total. How can I eat so much? How can I live after this creation? Unexpectedly, it was a sentence that responded to her. I could do this. Chen Lu let me do as much as I do. His words come out. Mai Ling immediately found Chen Lu. Then I asked why he asked Mayu to make so many dishes. You're too extravagant. But who knows that Chen Lu said that this is not to celebrate you reunite with rice grains. As long as my sister-in-law's sister is happy, Su Mayu made a delicious dish of a table. Although Mai Ling said that you are so extravagant, but the body is very honest. When you see these are all the dishes you love to eat, she immediately made a table on. Obviously 5 people eat. It should be taken when she was doubtful for this. Chen Lu suddenly became weakly weak. What are you sitting here? Hearing this, Ma Ling quickly said with a decisive change. I do not sit here. Where do I sit here? There are 5 seats in total. Could it be that you have to let me stand and eat? But who knows that Chen Lu came directly? Have not you eaten it just now? Could it be that you want to watch us cannot eat it? His words come out. Ma Ling said in a hurry. Did not you say that this meal was celebrating me reunited with my sister? What do you mean? Hearing this, Chen Lu immediately said, since you do not recognize me, what are you sitting here? Here except, they are all me. Therefore, I am happy to take out the food and share it with everyone. Tell me if you want to follow me in the future. His words come out. Rice grains took the lead in expressing that I coexisted with Chen Lu brother. The big pillars on the side also said that whether it is heaven or down the ground, I will always follow brother Chen. Mayu said that from the moment you cannot save me, my life is already yours. Seeing the man, the king and Rice are not willing to show weakness, he quickly expressed his loyalty to Chen Lu. At this time I saw Chen Lu said in a good way, they're all my Chen Lu people. If you are willing to call me a brother, you can also stay and have a meal with us. Did not wait for Chen Lu to finish talking. Ma Ling shouted at the table. Miss Ben does not eat the food. Speaking of Mai Ling, turn around Xiaju and leave. Seeing this, Chen Lu did not speak to retain. Instead, I deliberately told Mai Pan to try this emperor crab soon, and the E-star spot for rice is prepared for you. Listening to this intentional hub's words, Michelin was so available in his own room. I thought it was so disappointed that I could not see it, but unexpectedly the door was opened. She saw a man's shorts on her bed. This is not it. Quickly shouting, what is the matter of rice grains? I heard that the rice grains immediately explained that I was sorry for my sister. I forgot to tell you, I have lived in this room to live for Chen Lu brother. Sister, I will sleep in my house in the future. I helped you get it in your things. Did not you go to my room to take a bath first? Then Mai Ling took a bath? You can make it vigorously while driving Chen Lu. Anyway, the refrigerator is a bigger capacity. I cannot install much food. Wait for the food, I see how you fight with me. Actually, I watched me with outsiders too against me. Thinking of this, Mai Ling decided to go out and call it in and ask clearly. But who knows, she just walked out of the bathroom. I heard the sound of Chen Lu told everyone to eat grapes. This can make her bruise. You know, this is the fruit she loves to eat. After the outbreak of the end, she never eaten grapes anymore, although she really wants to eat. But in order to face her face, she still walked out of the room with a town mouth. Then Signal let the rice grains go to the room to say something. Then Chen Lu took out a bunch of grapes and shook them. He mumbled something about eating grapes without spitting out the skins. But then he added, if you do not eat grapes, you spit out the skins. Ma Ling was furious and glared at Chen Lu fiercely. Then she took Millie into the room. After locking the door, Mai Ling immediately pushed her sister down onto the bed. Then she shouted, quick, tell me, what did that boy give you? Successfully, he even joined forces with him to anger my sister. Seeing this little girl refused to speak, so Mai Ling immediately scratched the itch of the rice grain. But unexpectedly, I only scratched 2.5 minutes. Ma said everything. Sister, brother Chen Lu really wants you to join our team. But he always does not obey, so I just deliberately treated you like that. He's talked to me about your issue before, because I also think he makes sense. That's why I agree to cooperate. Wenyan said angrily when Mai Ling said angrily. Really ridiculous. I want me to succumb to him for meals. If he shows enough strength in front of me, I will naturally obedient. But he could not bear it with such a 3-out means. Then let's fight. So you can laugh until 2. After that, she resolutely walked out of the house. Looking at My Ling's back, the rice grain shouted and shouted immediately that it was getting dark. Sister, you are too dangerous to go out now. See Rice Grain so worried? Chen Lo immediately instructed the rice to go out with My Ling. If you are dangerous, you can also make early warnings in advance. And the king of the Fa, do you go together too? Help me to protect My Ling from my sister. He heard that Rice Grains immediately expressed thanks for Chen Lu, brother. I'm not at ease, my sister goes out alone. Can I go with Rice in Dharma village? In this regard, Chen Lu did not stop obstructing, because the funeral house in the community, basically, they have been cleaned up. Besides, there are kings and rice with rice. If you go out late, you will not encounter any danger. And the reason why Chen Lu wants to play with Rice Spirit, it was because in the last life he went to My Ling base to steal vegetables. She caught her on the spot, and My Ling also took more than a dozen kicks on his fart. See ya? In this regard, Chen Lu of the 6th old age still feels handsome, so he did this to mess with her. But why did he know that the blood-colored rose spirit flames are hard and not soft? Want to conquer this thorny rose? You must show your strength in front of her that can crush her. But at this moment, My Ling walked over with the newly found Kang Shuifu beef noodles and said, although it is not as delicious as your big fish and meat, but I can eat a bowl of hot instant noodles. I'll satisfy. Chen Lu did not pay attention to this. Instead, he told me that we would also eat beef noodles tonight. The kind of beef noodles that cannot be seen. This can make the rice aura not light. I wanted to show off in front of him. Unexpectedly, this guy pretended to be. Then Chen Lu slowly walked over and said, My Ling, let's talk. I admit I was a bit too harsh on you at noon. I sincerely apologize. But as soon as he finished speaking, you're trying to humiliate me with your delicacies again, right? Hearing this, Chen Lu immediately explained, you've misunderstood. I really just want to apologize. Before you acknowledge me as your captain, I will absolutely not share any supplies with you, and a captain must be both brave and resourceful. Neither can be lacking. I will prove to you that in either aspect, I can completely crush you. How about a duel 3 days from now? As long as you can defeat me. From now on, I, Chen Lu, will follow your lead. Otherwise, before Chen Lu could finish speaking, My Ling immediately responded, otherwise I'll listen to everything you say from now on. But why wait 3 days? There's no time like the present. Let's compete right now. Chen Lu immediately replied, I cannot control my strength well right now. What if I accidentally hurt you? In 2 or 3 days, I'll be able to break through to level 4. By then, my control over my abilities will be much more stable. Besides, right now, do not even think you can beat me. Even the Dharma King you cannot speak. At these words, My Ling immediately said angrily, I do not believe you. You old sugar daddy are quite wicked. Who do you think you're looking down on? Do you think I'm not even better than a stray dog? Chen Lu did not argue with her about this. He said casually, if you do not believe me, you can challenge the Dharma King right now. But just at that moment, the Dharma King suddenly became alert. He carefully watched his every move. Immediately a series of urgent knocks came from the door. The neighbor anxiously knocked on Millen's door, shouting, I have not eaten anything all day. Please share some instant noodles with me. Millen immediately replied, you have not eaten all day, you say. That means you ate something yesterday, right? I've not eaten in 2 days myself. Get away from me. Then she turned to Millie and told her never to be a saint. Because no matter how much food you give her, there will always be a day when she finishes it, and after she finishes it, she'll come back to ask you for more, so we might as well just refuse her once and for all. Little did she know it was her heartless refusal, but it made the neighbors suspicious of her. Meanwhile, My Fan sensed the malice from the person outside. Immediately, it went to tell Chen Lu what was happening. At the same time, on the other side, that vicious old woman had gathered 7 strong men, tricking them into believing that My Ling had a large amount of food. Then she aggressively led them to My Ling's apartment building. This scene happened to be witnessed by Daju, who was by the window. Seeing this, he immediately told Chen Lu what happened. Brother Chen, a group of people have come to our building. They're all carrying weapons. They clearly are not up to any good. At this moment, Chen Lu grinned and said, I wonder what kind of troublemakers dared act so bold. Daju, take the Dharma King down to work. Hearing this, Daju immediately pulled out his D-stick. Millie also quickly cast 2 buff skills on Daju. Then Daju took the Dharma King and left the room. Seeing this, Millie and Chen Lu came to the window to watch the battle. She thought to herself, I want to see if this mud is as powerful as he claims. At this time, a group of people swarmed towards Daju. Without a word, they unleashed a furious attack on Daju, but they quickly realized something was wrong. No matter how they attacked, they could not even scratch the man before them. Seeing this, one of the small Gagagas tried to sneak attack using his abilities, but he was instantly taken out by the Dharma King, who arrived just in time with a lightning-fast 5-strike combo. It all happened in the blink of an eye. Daju and the Dharma King easily ended the battle. This shocked Mylan, who was watching the battle. She never expected that the Dharma King's strength would actually surpass Daju's. Seeing her shocked expression, Chen Lu did not mock her. Instead, he looked towards Millie beside him. Then he handed her a small knife and said, this time the task of extracting the crystal is entrusted to you. As soon as he said this, Millie was instantly shocked and terrified. Then she shouted, why do you have to make me go? Chen Lu explained, although you're only a support, some things still require you to experience them firsthand. Otherwise, when you see them later, you might feel uncomfortable and affect the battle. Hearing this, Millie also said, I think Chen Lu is right. You'll have to face these things sooner or later. Then Chen Lu took Millie downstairs. After some mental preparation, Millie started to painstakingly dig out the specimen from this body. The disgusting sight immediately made her vomit uncontrollably. Seeing this, Chen Lu quickly comforted her. You did great. Everyone started out the same way. Yuji has prepared the beef noodles. Let's go upstairs and eat. After returning home, Chen Lu served Millie a bowl of beef noodles with extra beef. Seeing this, Mei Ling was instantly stunned. Then she shouted, are you eating beef? Or beef noodles? This is too extravagant. And Chen Lu, do not forget our 3-day agreement. 3 days later, they will have a fair duel. The loser must unconditionally obey the winner. All for the sake of subduing the Crimson Rose at Ling Yanji. So Chen Lu immediately returned to his room and began frantically absorbing crystals. But unexpectedly, after absorbing more than 10 crystals, Chen Lu's level still showed no sign of breaking through. It seems these low-level crystals are no longer very effective for him. But Chen Lu also obtained 2 high-grade bodies from the Rat King and Xiang Shai La, plus the 2 high-grade body crystals, and with the surviving examination crystals Millie collected today, breaking through to level 4 should be more than enough. Thinking of this, Chen Lu immediately took out the high-grade bodies and began to absorb them. After completely absorbing this energy, Chen Lu suddenly felt a splitting headache. At this moment, Chen Lu's level finally broke through to level 4. At the same time, he also awakened his second spatial ability, Void Walk. This made Chen Lu overjoyed. You see, this was the key to his survival until humanity's extinction in his previous life. This skill could not only be used for escape, but also for surprise attacks, achieving complete unexpectedness. Thinking this, Chen Lu immediately used Void Walk. The next second, he suddenly appeared in front of the Dharma King. This startled the Dharma King, who was resting in the living room. It immediately started barking incessantly. Seeing this, Chen Lu quickly winked at Fox. He signaled it not to panic. After seeing that it was its owner, Fox finally relaxed. The next morning, Mei Yu prepared a large table of fragrant breakfast. This made Mei Ling, who was eating bread, incredibly envious. 9 dishes and a soup for breakfast. Does this kid's family own a mine? This made Melon suspicious. Their refrigerator's so tiny. Judging by their extravagant meals of meat and fish, the food in the refrigerator should have been completely devoured long ago. Could it be that they found more food outside last night? To investigate the competition, Millen immediately dashed to the refrigerator. However, the moment she opened the refrigerator, she was instantly astonished by what she saw. Not only was the refrigerator not empty, but it was also packed full of food. Seeing this, Millen quickly asked Chen Lu about the refrigerator. Where did you get so many fresh ingredients? Hearing this, Millie quickly explained. Actually, Brother Chen Lu is a space-type ability user. He stored a huge amount of food in his ability space, enough for us to eat for several lifetimes. At these words, Millen immediately said angrily. So I'm the one who knows nothing? You're really my good sister? Teaming up with outsiders to swindle my sister. But on second thought, there's no point getting angry. After I defeat that stinky brat Chen Lu, I'll make him kneel before me and call me daddy. And every day he'll have to bring me mountains of delicacies to show his respect. Thinking of this as Millen quickly reminded Chen Lu not to forget the duel 2 days later. Do not you dare back out if you lose to me. Bayan always owes me. Chen Lu smiled slightly upon hearing this. Since you're so eager to be defeated by me, I can actually fulfill your desire ahead of schedule. Let's fight. There's no need to wait 2 days. Not only did he boastfully claim he could defeat the girl with one move, he also claimed the whole thing would not take more than 3 seconds. As soon as those words left his mouth, Mei Ling immediately shouted, Who do you think you're looking down on? Do you think I'll lose to you before 3 seconds are up? Hearing this, Chen Lu chuckled. Then how about we add a little something extra? If you do not lose within 3 seconds, I'll consider myself the loser. But if you have to obediently join my team. Still want to lift that thing? How about I give you a hand? Hearing this, Mei Ling's heart tightened. She thought, although this guy does have the possibility of being stronger than her, based on her own strength from the other day, to defeat her in just 3 seconds, simply a fool's dream. Besides, during a martial arts competition, the distance between both parties is at least 3 or 4 meters. As long as I do not clash head-on with him, dodging for 3 seconds should be easy, right? At this moment, Mei Ling asked, What's the distance between us in this martial arts competition? But Chen Lu, without a second thought, answered 20 meters, because only then would Mei Ling easily fall for it. Otherwise, after I subdue Mei Ling, I would not have a chance to openly return the kick from my past life. I hear it's 20 meters away. Millen's confidence immediately soared. You said it yourself. You lose. Let me kick you with my hate-filled high kick. How about that? Unexpectedly, Chen Lu waved his hand, saying if you win, you can carry me to or you can make any request of me. As long as it's within my power, I can do it. I Chen Lu guarantee I will satisfy you. Although at this moment, Mei Ling also felt something was amiss, but thinking about losing and being kicked by him, Mei Ling readily agreed to Chen Lu's additional wager. So the two immediately went to the rooftop to prepare for the fight. After Mei Ling shouted begin, Mei Ling quickly increased the distance between them, so was closely watching Chen Lu's every move, thinking I want to see who gave this kid the courage to say he'd defeat me within 3 seconds, but the words had barely left his mouth when Chen Lu mysteriously disappeared from Mei Ling's sight. Seeing this, Mei Ling immediately looked around, but still could not find Chen Lu's shadow, just as she was baffled. But Chen Lu suddenly appeared behind her and grabbed her neck. Then a cold voice came from behind Mei Ling. Ma, you lost. Do you admit defeat? Although she was indeed unwilling to accept it at this moment, if Chen Lu had not subdued her with his hands just now, but had instead ambushed me with a sharp knife, I would have probably been dead already. Then Mei Ling stubbornly said, You win. A bet's a bet. But before Mei Ling could finish, Chen Lu patted Mai Ling on the shoulder and said, "What happened the other day was indeed a bit excessive on my part. I sincerely apologize to you here. From now on we'll be comrades in arms, sharing life and death together. Welcome the team. Let's go have breakfast." Then Mei Yu enthusiastically brought her a hearty breakfast. She said to help herself and ask for more if it was not enough. "I'll make you something else delicious." Seeing this, Mai Ling did not stand on ceremony. She immediately started eating with gusto. She had been starving for the past 2 days. After dinner, Chen Lu called everyone to the living room. He then said seriously, "Mai Ling, I have now proven to you that not only is my strength superior to yours, but my overall strategic vision surpasses yours by a significant margin. Now, you should acknowledge me as your captain, right? Then if you were the captain, what do you think we should do next?" Hearing this, Mai Ling was stunned for a moment. Then she said, "Actually, I have not thought about this. My current priority is protecting my younger sister. Your announcement has left me quite confused." Chen Lu glanced at the others, but everyone else was equally confused and at a loss. Then Chen Lu said in a deep voice, "Although everyone is currently eating and drinking, but we must always be prepared for danger even in times of peace. Daju and I once encountered a powerful mutated rat king, and with Millie I encountered large evolved corpses. Their fighting strength was a level above ordinary monsters. Therefore I think the strength of the zombies will also increase over time, and the number of corpses will continue to increase in the future if we want to survive in this cruel apocalypse. Shinyi's method is to unite more strong individuals." After all, Chairman Ma also said, "Many hands make light work. Currently there are 2 paths available to us. Either we join someone else's team, or we recruit more strong individuals to build our own power. I'm a very stubborn person. I never pay attention to what others say to me, because my original intention has never changed. That is to establish a force that belongs to us, if you feel the same way. Then I think this matter is awesome." After hearing Chen Lu's awesome idea, everyone nodded in agreement. Although Chen Lu could live a good life in this life without building a force, I can just void walk away when I'm in danger. But the other members do not have my spatial abilities. If we do not strengthen our team and confront the mourners soon, the ending will be the same as my last life. If that's the case, what's the point of my reincarnation? After receiving everyone's support, Chen Lu said, "Then the next thing we need to do is, we need to recruit more strong fighters to join our team as soon as possible. But we do not just take anyone. Strength is important, of course, but I value their character even more. If they're the type to run away at the first sign of danger, bringing them in will only drag everyone down." Also analyzing the current situation, resources in the city are dwindling. The number of zombies is gradually increasing. The surviving members of Lai Yu's group would likely choose to flee to the suburbs to take refuge. Therefore, I think it's more suitable to establish our base in the suburbs. After hearing Chen Lu's plan for the future, everyone cast admiring glances at Chen Lu. Mai Ling had to admit that Chen Luo was indeed a better team leader. She said, "I really did not think that far ahead. I also fully agree with your point just now." Hearing this, Chen Lu smiled slightly. "Then call me G brother and let me hear it. And you would not go back on the bet from earlier, will you?" At this moment, Chen Lu could not help but feel a surge of secret delight. He could finally openly avenge the kick from his past life. Spare face. Chen Lu called Mai Ling to his room alone. He immediately took the initiative in Indigo. This excited Chen Lu immensely. He secretly thought he could finally avenge himself. At this moment, Mei Ling impatiently urged, "What are you dawdling about? Are you going to serve it or not? I'll count to 10 now. If you do not serve it, I'll take it as you giving up." Having said that, Mai Ling started the countdown. But at this moment, Chen Lu fell into deep thought. Could it be that I only found Mai Ling to just kick her out? It seems this revenge is not necessarily something I have to take, although kicking her out would be very satisfying, but I somehow feel that if I really do it, I might end up being a bachelor for life. Thinking this, Chen Lu slapped her hard on the buttocks. This really angered Mei Ling. She immediately shouted, "How can you use your hands? That's not fair." Hearing this, Chen Lu chuckled. "Then how about I try again with my feet?" At these words, Mai Ling immediately said furiously, "Believe it or not, I'll cripple you right now. If you dare to tell anyone what happened just now, I'll turn against you immediately." Seeing this, Chen Lu immediately stated, "I understand the rules. I guarantee I'll never mention this again. To celebrate your official joining of our team, I'll go out and have Yu-Ji make you your favorite Sichuan dishes for lunch." Hearing this, Mai Ling was instantly stunned. She thought to herself, how does this kid know I like Sichuan food? Could it be that Millie even told him this? Soon Mei prepared a large table of delicious dishes. Seeing these delicious Sichuan dishes, Millen's eyes welled up with excitement. Immediately, she picked up her chopsticks and started eating heartily. While eating, she mumbled, "I never thought I'd be able to eat such delicious food in my lifetime. Sister Yu, your cooking skills are amazing." After satisfying meal, Chen Lu announced an important decision to everyone. Because the residential area where we previously lived is located in the city center, not only is the terrain unfavorable, but also the view is not expansive. High-rise buildings surround us on all sides. In case of emergencies, it's not conducive to retreat. It's very unsuitable for long-term residents. For everyone's safety and security, so everyone please tidy up a bit. Tomorrow we'll all move to my villa in the suburbs. Early the next morning, Chen Lu and the others drove heavy trucks out of the residential area. But on the way to the villa, Chen Lu encountered a survivor who pleaded for his help. The man was seen holding an iron bar shielding his teammate. No matter how his teammate urged him to leave quickly, saying it would be too late otherwise, the man still showed no intention of abandoning his teammates, even said he wanted to survive together. I would absolutely never leave my brothers to survive alone. Chen Lo, witnessing this scene, immediately recalled the scene from his past life where Doju sacrificed himself to save him. He thought to himself, this guy's a keeper. At the brink of death, he did not abandon his companions and run away alone. Is not this exactly the kind of teammate we need to recruit for our guild? Thinking of this, Chen Lo immediately ordered the Dharma King to get out of the car and rescue the person. As soon as he finished speaking, the Dharma King charged towards the bereaved family with lightning speed. With just a set of 5 consecutive lightning whips, he instantly defeated the bereaved family. This shocked the survivors nearby. They did not expect that the bereaved family who almost wiped us out was so easily dealt with by this little dog. Seeing the dog's owner approaching, several people quickly expressed their gratitude to Chen Lu. Hello, my name is Fang Yu. I'm a power type S. These people behind me are all brothers from my security company. They've all awakened their Esper abilities as well. We owe our escape to your timely help just now, big brother. We were lucky to escape. I Fang Yu will never forget this kindness. Hearing this, Chen Lu immediately said, do not mention it. It was just a small favor. I wonder if you brothers are interested in joining my team. Upon hearing this, Fang Yu quickly bowed and cupped his fists, saying, since you do not disdain our humble strength, we naturally have no reason to refuse. From now on we'll all follow Brother Chen. Regarding the addition of these several men, Millen also expressed strong agreement. Although their skills are indeed a little lacking, their character is quite good. In a critical moment, they would rather die than abandon their companions. Then Chen Lu had Daju take them to the back of the vehicle. After arriving at the suburban villa, Chen Lu arranged for them to stay next to his own room. You guys go in and settle down first. I'll come and see you again. After all, Chen Lu is not familiar with them yet. Naturally, he would not let them live with him. After returning home, Chen Lu retrieved everyone's luggage from his ability space. He also got some rice and potatoes. Then he pulled Dazu and went to deliver food to the next door. However, as he reached the door, Chen Lu heard a commotion inside. I cannot believe it. Brother Chen's little dog is actually that strong. I guess the 4 of us combined would not stand a chance against that dog. Please remove the word guess, okay? Then Chen Lu cut. He then said, I've brought some food for everyone. You guys know how to cook, right? Upon hearing this, Fang Yu immediately said, you saved our lives? How can we possibly take such precious food from you? You should keep these for yourself. I'll take my brothers out to find food now. Chen Lu smiled slightly upon hearing this. Since you've decided to follow me, Chen Lu, from now on we're brothers. Why be so polite with brothers? I'm assigning you a task now. After dinner, please organize the supplies in the villa area. Then hand them over to me for unified management. Then she handed 4 walkie-talkies to Fang Yu. He told them to use these to contact Chen Lu if anything happens. After returning home, Chen Lu gathered everyone in the living room. Then Chen Lu said in a low voice, although we have new team members now, only core members can enjoy the same treatment as us. I cannot tell them the secret of this ability space yet. If they perform well in the future, I can consider them core members. And we'll be settling here long term. So for everyone's safety, we must thoroughly scout the entire villa area now. We'll split into 2 groups to investigate. Dazu and Millie Fan will be one group. I'm in group with Mei Ling and Fa Wang. Then Chen Lu led everyone out of the villa. But just then, a car's roar suddenly came from behind. Seeing this, Chen Lu immediately pulled Mei Ling into the nearby bushes. Then a bus stopped at the entrance of the residential area. Following that, a girl with a stunning figure got off the bus. But when Chen Lu saw the person's face, he instantly broke out in a cold sweat. He inwardly cursed, how could it be this dog? She was once the world's 2nd youngest female billionaire. But after the apocalypse broke out, she fell to becoming a lowly, fawning dog. However, the object of her fawning was not anyone else but Mei Ling, who had just been brought under Chen Lu's control. The woman's name was Mu Qianji. In her past life, she was a powerful overlord in the apocalypse. After the apocalypse arrived, she formed a team composed solely of women. But she had a severe psychological cleanliness issue. She believed all men were incredibly filthy. If she discovered any member of her team had the slightest contact with a man, she would personally use cruel and unusual punishments without hesitation. In her previous life, Mei Ling joined her forces. It's said that this Mu Qianji ultimately died saving Mei Ling. It can be said that he would even give his life for her. He could definitely be considered Mei Ling's #1 sycophant. After that, Mei Ling took over her position, becoming the base's 2nd leader. But Chen Lu clearly remembered that in his past life, Mei Ling met Mu Qianji in the mid-apocalypse. Could it be that my rebirth triggered a butterfly effect, causing them to meet earlier? But luckily I'd already subdued Mei Ling beforehand. I treated her to a luxurious feast. Someone likes would never hang out with Mu Qianji. That's turned, just as Chen Lu was stunned. A shout suddenly came from a distance. Who's sneaking around in the bushes? The voice belonged to the ponytailed girl behind Mu Qianji. Chen Lu recognized her immediately as Xu Yun. She's a powerful ice-type Esper. Her strength is second only to Mei Ling. At this moment, Mu Qianji walked up to Mei Ling with a smile on her face. Girl, what are you hiding here for? I'm Mu. Nice to meet you. Unexpectedly, Mei Ling coldly replied with 5 words. None of your business. Even though Mei Ling's tone was impatient, Mu Qianji still relentlessly tried to get close to her. Girl, we're a team of only girls, you know. Want to consider joining us? This made Chen Lu beside them quite angry. He thought himself, you Mu Qianji, your hoe swinging skills are quite impressive. You dare poach someone right in front of me. Chen Lu was about to comfort him, but unexpectedly Mei Ling spoke first. Excuse me, I already have my own team. Hearing this, Mu Qianji immediately glared fiercely at Chen Lu. Could it be that you're on the same team as this little brat? And Chen Lu immediately retorted, what does it have to do with you? Saying this, he pulled Mai Ling and turned to leave. Unbeknownst to him, Mu Change had already developed hostility towards him. I secretly think that boy is nothing but a greedy, lecherous, pretty boy. I must make the girl see his true ugly face. Then I'll take her under my wing. Then Mu Change turned and signaled his men to find a place to settle down nearby. We're not leaving today. To get back at Chen Lu. Mu Change then invited Chen Lu out, saying he had a big deal he wanted Chen Lu to cooperate on. I spotted a large shopping mall not far from here. I've already sent someone in to scout it out. The supplies inside are countless, but there are also a large number of infected there. How about we cooperate and take that mall? After we succeed, we'll split the supplies inside 50-50. How does that sound? Chen Lu knew immediately that the other person was not being entirely truthful, because he and Millie had already been to that mall not long ago. I've already looted all the supplies inside. Now the mall is completely empty, not even a single thing left. She actually still wants to trick me into cooperating with her to get supplies, so her goal is very obvious. She wants to use this opportunity to get rid of me and seize Mylan for herself. Unexpectedly, Chen Lu, that sly fox, did not play by the rules. Even though she promised to give him 70% of the supplies after they succeeded, Chen Lu still rejected her offer on the spot. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a coward. It goes without saying that there must be a lot of bereaved families there. Saving my life is the priority. Little did I know that Chen Lu had already looted all the supplies in the mall. Hearing this, Mu Change was speechless. She secretly thought, how could her little sister Mai Ling team up with such a pretty boy? It's just as I thought. He's a hypocritical, cowardly, and greedy wimp. To lure Chen Lu into the trap, Mu Change continued to persuade him. Little brother, if you do not come with me now, it'll be too late when you're starving later, you know. Hearing this, Chen Lu further confirmed his suspicions. There's no such thing as a free lunch, so Chen Lu once again ruthlessly refused her invitation, unexpectedly despite his repeated refusals, but it only fueled the wicked woman's even more sinister intentions. Watching her retreating back, Chen Lu sensed her deep malice. He did not want to quibble with a woman, but since she had already targeted him, things were different. Knowing Chen Lu's character, he would never show mercy to anyone who threatened him. Then he looked at the sleeping Dharma King with a mischievous smile. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mu Change was anxiously knocking on someone else's door, calling out, Fengji, are you home? Then a man like the wind opened the door and said, It's Siam. What brings you here? I would not dare call myself Fengji in your presence. Just call me Feng. Seeing this, Mu Change did not bother with pleasantries. He directly stated the purpose of his visit. There's something I'd like to ask of you. I need you to use your wind-type abilities tomorrow to lure some bereaved. No need for too many, 40 or 50 will do. Afterward, I'll let you join our team. She did not want him to bring too many bereaved families. She was afraid that if there were too many, she would not be able to handle them. Then she would not be able to stage a heroic rescue to win over Mai Ling. Hearing this, Fengji did not hesitate. He immediately agreed, because joining Mu Chenji's team was his lifelong wish. So this had already fallen for a girl in the Women's Legion named Cao Ling, and my good brother Su Daju happened to be working security there. I wonder if he survived the apocalypse. I might as well go look for him tomorrow. The next morning, Jiang Feng led his large army of the bereaved to the villa area. Then he charged directly towards the villa where Chen Lu and the others were staying. Unexpectedly, he bumped right into Chen Lu and the others who were out walking their dog. This scared Daju half to death. Fengji, what are you doing? He shouted urgently. Jiang Feng froze on the spot at this sight. Then he looked back at the approaching mourners. He did not bother explaining to Daju. Jiang Feng quickly dashed away. Fa Wangxi wanted to take down this desperate man, but Chen Lu stopped him in time, because he recognized the man. In their past lives, they were comrades in arms. This kid's a good person. He's also incredibly loyal. Years of delivering takeout gave Jiang Feng incredibly fast legs, and he also awakened a wind-based ability to increase his speed, so every time he was responsible for drawing away the infected, Chen Lu and Daju would then take the opportunity to collect supplies. But as the saying goes, even the best horse stumbles. In the end, he was tragically surrounded by zombies. Jiang Feng, having quickly drawn the zombies away, found Daju again. He immediately asked Daju if he'd recently offended anyone. I was only acting on someone else's instructions. I did such a foolish thing. If I'd known you lived here, I would not have taken the job. But as soon as he finished speaking, Chen Lu said with a gloomy face, the person who hired you is Mu Change, right? Jiang Feng was startled. He shouted, how did you know? Do you two have a conflict? Meanwhile, Mu Change and the others had arrived at the villa area by car. They were ready to stage a heroic rescue and capture Ma Ling. Seeing the crowd gathered outside Chen Lu's house, she thought Jiang Feng had succeeded, so he immediately ordered to ram the gate with a bus and rescue Mai Ling. But unbeknownst to them, one of the infected not only nimbly dodged the impact, but also conjured a fireball with its hands. Immediately, the infected threw the fireball at the bus. At this moment, Chen Lu sensed something was wrong, thinking himself, this is bad. That's the aura of a level 5 mutant. Those who've reached this level of corpse household have not only developed their intelligence, but also can use psychic abilities to fight humans. Following a deafening boom, all the girls frantically fled the car. Then Mu Change shouted, Sister, do not panic. Follow my instructions now. Having said that, she used her psychic abilities to control several class projectiles and fired them at the corpse factory. Unexpectedly, not only did all the mutants evade all attacks, but one even caught a high-speed flying sevens with its bare hands. The next second, the enraged mutant shot towards Mu Change, who had attacked it. This scared Mu Change quite a bit. He thought to himself, with so many people attacking it, why did it specifically target me? Could this thing actually know the principle of catch the king first to subdue the bandits? Without a second thought, Musange grabbed his former teammate, with whom he had fought side by side. Then, without hesitation, he pushed him in front of himself to block the blow. The girl did not even have time to figure out what happened. Just like that, she unknowingly met her end in the northwest, and this scene was witnessed by Chen Lu, who happened to arrive at that moment. He shouted, "I never expected you to be this kind of person." At this moment, all the girls cast disbelieving glances at Musange. They all exclaimed, "Xiaomu, how could you? You actually used your own sisters as shields." But facing everyone's accusations, Musange paid them no mind. Instead, she charged directly towards Chen Lu, who was standing aside. "Pei Dao, since that useless Zhang Feng did not kill you, then I'll personally take care of it today and throw you to the dogs." But before the words left her mouth, Chen Lu slapped her hard across the face with a powerful backhand. "I'm telling you, someone like you does not deserve to be captain. You completely disregard your teammates' lives." At this moment, Musange was even more stunned. She never expected this young man's strength to be so terrifying. The powerful force instantly sent her flying over 20 meters. Before she could even react, she landed perfectly in front of the mutated zombie. Seeing this, the zombie did not stand on ceremony with Chen Lu. It directly pierced Musange's chest. But just then, Xu Yun suddenly rushed towards the zombie, hugging a gas tank. She shouted, "Sisters, scatter. I'm going down with it." Seeing this, Chen Lu was instantly shocked. This girl is truly a heroine. At the moment of life or death, she's willing to protect her teammates and sacrifice her own life. Such a loyal and righteous person. I cannot bear to let her die like this. Then he turned around and condensed a 40-meter void sword. This scared the mutated creature Shang-Chi quite a bit. He quickly conjured 2 fireballs, preparing to rush over and instantly kill Chen Lu. But the next second, Chen Lu vanished from its sight. Before the zombie could react, Chen Lu eerily reappeared behind it. Then with a sound, the mutated zombie's head fell off. This incredibly smooth move shocked everyone present. They all exclaimed, "This man is too strong." Just then Chen Lu shouted sharply, "Girl, what are you still standing there for? Hurry up and throw away the gas canister before it explodes." Xu Yun, finally snapping back to reality, hurriedly tossed the ticking time bomb into the air. Luckily, Chen Lu had warned her in time. Immediately afterwards, the girl's legs gave way, and she knelt on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Chen Lu quickly removed a fist-sized level 5 crystal from the mutant. It was about the size of an egg. Then Chen Lu helped Xu Yun up from the ground. He asked her what her next plan was. Hearing this, Xu Yun looked at her sisters. She felt very lost at the moment. Their leader, Musange, was now dead. No one knew what to do next. Then Chen Lu said in a deep voice, "I wonder if any of you sisters would consider joining my team. I can assure you all that following me, you will at least never have to go hungry again. I know you're all feeling conflicted right now, and you do not need to answer me immediately. When you've made up your minds, you can come to my villa anytime to find me." Having said that, Chen Luo turned and left with a flourish. However, not long after he got home, a knock came at the door. He opened the door to see Xu Yun, with more than 20 sisters, had come to seek refuge with him. Xu Yun said with unwavering determination, "Chen Lu, you saved us all just now, so my sisters are all willing to join your team." Upon hearing that, Chen Lu immediately expressed his gratitude for everyone's trust. "However, joining my team requires adherence to my rules. Let's establish 3 basic principles. If you can accept them, then I will agree to your joining. The first rule is unconditional obedience to my commands. Of course, I will absolutely not force you to do anything unethical. You can rest assured about that. Secondly, in my team, there's no distinction between men and women. Everyone must participate in battle. Do not tell me later that you're a girl and that you're hindering me or anything like that. If you want to find a partner, prioritize those within our own 100-man unit. It's fine if you want to find someone outside, but the condition is that they must marry into our team. This is to prevent us from being exploited and having our internal secrets leaked. This is also for everyone's safety and peace of mind." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone readily agreed. "We're all willing to follow you." Hearing this, Chen Lu immediately welcomed their joining. "I now appoint Xu Yun as the squad leader of the Women's Legion. From now on, if you have any problems, you can contact Xu Yun. Xu Yun will be responsible for contacting me. Everyone can... I'll give you all a surprise later." Then Fang Yu and the others brought in several boxes of Lao Gan Ma chili sauce. They gave 2 bottles to each girl. Seeing how good the food was here with Chen Lu, and that the girl he liked had joined Chen Lu's team, Zhang Feng quickly said, "Brother Chen, could you for Daju's sake, let me join your team too?" Chen Lu did not even think twice before agreeing to Zhang Feng's request. After all, this kid had done him a favor in his past life. Moreover, his character and abilities were both excellent, so Chen Lu could not think of any reason to refuse him. Among this batch of newly recruited members, Xu Yun's qualifications were the best. On day 1 of the apocalypse, she awakened her abilities. Anyone who can awaken on day 1? They all possess the potential to become king-level Esper. She can be cultivated as a core member. Let's test Shu's current strength level. So Chen Lu decided to take them to the nearby clothing wholesale market for training later. This can exercise everyone's ability to cooperate in combat, and it can also collect some supplies by the way. After all, everyone needs some spare clothes. Then Chen Lu led the team to the clothing market. Although there were many mourners there, Chen Lu did not intend to intervene. Instead, he entrusted the leadership to Dachu and Mailing. He wanted to see the overall strength of this women's corpse. To avoid Chen Lu also arranged for Jiang Feng to control the number of mourners at the scene. Once the number of female idol peripheral zombies exceeds 20, Jiang Feng will draw some of them away. Soon the zombies, sensing the presence of living people, gathered towards everyone. Seeing this, the girls immediately opened fire and fought the zombies. But their attacks were either off target, or multiple abilities were repeatedly used on the same zombie. Seeing this, Chen Lu could not help but gasp. Clearly one ability could instantly kill these low-level zombies. As a result, they wasted multiple abilities on the same target. The damage severely overflowed. It's safe to say these girls have zero coordination. If I had not arranged for Mai Ling and Da Zhu to hold the fort, and if Jiang Feng had not controlled the number of the undead, these girls would have been killed hundreds of times over. It seems it will take some time for them to become a fighting force. However, what comforted Chen Lu was, none of these girls ran away at the critical moment. To reward everyone, Chen Lu announced that they could all pick out some clothes they liked. At these words, the girls who had just been slumped on the ground instantly perked up. They happily started their free shopping spree. This scene happened to be seen by Mai Ling behind them. She secretly wondered if he had some kind of unusual fetish, or maybe he wants to take it back and give it to Millie. But just as Mai Ling was imagining things, a girl suddenly shouted, "Sister, I found a small supermarket. It has lots of water and food. Come and see." Then Shuyun and the others rushed to the supermarket. Although by now they had not had water for a day and a night, but Shuyun still told her sisters not to drink yet. Then she found Chen Lu. After explaining the situation to Chen Lu, she asked if she could give each sister a bottle of water first. Everyone was really thirsty. Chen Lu was very pleased with Shuyun's organized and disciplined behavior. Chen Lu was very satisfied. He immediately said that one bottle was not enough. Give everyone 2 bottles. Seeing this scene, Millie could not help but exclaim, "Baji is truly. Since meeting brother Chen Lu, he has never let me go thirsty or hungry, so no matter what I have to confess my feelings to him today." After returning home, Millie found Chen Lu alone. After some mental preparation, Millie finally mustered the courage to confess her feelings to Chen Lu. "Brother Chen Lu, actually I fell for you the moment I first saw you. Can I be your girlfriend?" Chen Lu did not hesitate. He responded directly with action. But just then, Chen Lu noticed that Mi Fan was watching them intently from the side, eating melon seeds. This made him feel very uncomfortable. The proverb "curiosity killed the cat" was perfectly illustrated by Rice at this moment. Before he could figure out what was going on, he was thrown out of the room like a rag by Chen Lu without any mercy. This angered Rice. Immediately yelled, "Chen Lu, you heartless friend. Do not think I do not know you're bullying Millie in the room." And this sentence happened to be heard by Milling, who just passed by. Milling was about to break in to see what was going on, but suddenly stopped. She thought, after all, it's what that girl wished for. Besides, she's liked Chen Lu for a long time. Let's just grant her wish, because the following plot is not very pretty. Why do not you all share your phone battery percentage in the comments section? Let's see if anyone has the same battery level as you, a destined soulmate. The next morning, Chen Lu walked out of the room in high spirits. He saw Mi Fan lying on the sofa sulking. Chen Lu quickly picked it up and said with concern, "Want a delicious little dried fish?" Hearing this, Mi Fan immediately snorted coldly. "Chen Lu, you've changed. Last night, you actually did that to me. Do you think I'll forgive you with just 1 small fish stick?" Chen Lu smiled faintly upon hearing this. "What about 10 fish sticks then?" Upon hearing this, Mi Fan immediately declared, "I'm a cat of principle. You know, forgiving you is not impossible, but it'll have to be 20 fish sticks." Chen Lu did not hesitate to agree to Rice's request. He promised plenty of dried fish from now on. "But Rice, you're all grown up now. From now on, you need to learn to sleep like a proper cat, okay?" After settling Rice's matter, Chen Lu gathered all the new members. Yesterday's battle over the sweet rice cakes also revealed many problems to him, so he tailored a training program for each person based on their individual circumstances. For the elemental ability users with ranged attack, Chen Lu arranged target practice for them. He demanded perfect accuracy from them. As for close combat ability users like Jiang Feng, Chen Lu had Mai Ling use her abilities to attack him. Close combat ability users usually charge to the front of the team, so they must learn to evade energy attacks. In my past life, Jiang Feng capsized in the gutter of level 1 mourners, because once a mourner reaches level 1, they will awaken range energy attacks. Chen Lu estimates that soon, a large number of level 1 mourners will appear on this land, so before that, he must ensure that every member of his team, they all possess the ability to cope with this kind of bereaved household. Then Chen Lu found Miyu. He asked her to improve everyone's meal for lunch today. This was not just to celebrate his confirmed relationship with Millie. He also wanted to reward the team members for their hard training. Thinking about this, Chen Lu realized that asking Miyu to cook for so many people now was indeed a bit too much. So he found Xiling and made his move on her. She's the girl Jiang Feng had his eye on. Also light elemental Esper. Soon Miyu and the others prepared a large table of delicious food. Since the living room could not accommodate so many people, Chen Lu moved the dining table to the yard. When everyone saw such a sumptuous meal, tears of excitement involuntarily welled up in everyone's eyes. You should know that besides B, Chen Lu, and the other core members, who else has seen so much meat and fish after the apocalypse? At this moment, the girls of the Women's Legion could not help but exclaim. Luckily we chose to join Chenji's team back then. Otherwise, how could we possibly have the chance to enjoy such delicious food? But what Chen Lu never expected was that this table of fragrant food attracted a dilapidated car. A man and a woman got out of a car, drawn by the smell of food. Seeing them, everyone immediately became extremely wary, because in this apocalyptic world of food scarcity, tragedies sparked by a bite to eat were countless. But this brother and sister before them, hungry for 3 days, were willing to give up all their food just for a sip of clean water. Seeing they meant no harm, Chen Lu relaxed his guard. 9. Then he asked Xu Yun to bring 2 bottles of mineral water to exchange with them. But when the girl saw Chen Lu and the others enjoying a big meal, she instantly became rooted to the spot. She immediately said, "Big brother, are you still short of people? My brother and I would also like to join." Hearing this, Chen Lu smiled slightly. "I do not hire useless people here. If you want to join us, go hunt 10 of those S-class zombies now. Then bring me the crystals from their heads." At these words, the girl's brother lowered his guard. If Chen Lu had simply agreed to let them join, he would have suspected a trick. Then the two turned and quickly walked away. They shouted, "We'll be right back." In no time at all, the two siblings exceeded their quota, bringing back 20 items taken from the deceased and found Chen Lu. Seeing their performance, Chen Lu was very pleased. He immediately asked when they had awakened. Hearing this, the man said, "My name is Lai Ming. I awakened my power type ability on the 3rd day. My sister's name is Lai. She awakened the next day, but I'm not sure what faction her awakened ability belongs to. You've seen a lot. Why not you take a look?" With that, the girl condensed a ball of purple energy in her palm. Seeing this, Chen Lu was instantly shocked. He secretly thought he had struck gold. Unexpectedly, the girl had awakened a dark type ability. This is a great asset for team battles. Not only can it use spells to weaken enemies, but it can also summon undead to fight. Then Chen Lu said, "Congratulations, you've passed my test, but the rules here are, after joining you must unconditionally obey orders. If you can accept that, then you'll follow me from now on." As soon as he finished speaking, the two siblings simultaneously shouted, "I accept." Seeing this, Chen Lu did not hesitate. He quickly instructed Miyu to add more dishes to welcome them. Taking this opportunity, Chen Lu also announced his good news with Millie to everyone. Hearing this, everyone raised their glasses to express their blessings to the couple. After the dinner party, the young couple were sent to their bridal chamber. Because the following plot is not very appropriate, I will not go into detail for everyone. Early the next morning, Chen Lu once again led the team to a high-end residential area to collect supplies. Although he was very satisfied with everyone's training results yesterday, he believed that practical application was the ultimate standard for testing truth. After arriving at their destination, at Chen Lu's command, all the elemental ability users in the vehicle immediately begin the orderly cleanup of the area around the vehicle. Meanwhile, Dazhu took the opportunity to lead the power-type ability users to quickly get out of the car and start transporting supplies. Seeing everyone cooperate so well, Chen Lu felt relieved. With the concerted efforts of all team members, the back of the heavy truck was soon filled with supplies. But just then, a girl suddenly shouted, "I found a large supermarket over there. There are a lot of supplies inside." Mai Ling immediately rushed in without hesitation. She thought to herself, a supermarket this size should have that thing, right? Then she went to the shelves next to the cash register and started searching. This unusual was noticed by Xu Yun, who arrived shortly after, driven by curiosity. Xu Yun slowly approached Mai Ling from behind, but when she saw what Mai Ling was searching for, she immediately blushed crimson. Times are so hard now. Yet she's not taking food, but this thing, is she that desperate? Mai Ling was just about to explain, but the other party did not give her that chance at all. They immediately found an excuse and left hurriedly. At this moment, Mai Ling was so embarrassed she could dig a 3-bedroom apartment with her toes. She thought to herself, if it were not for my sister, would I do something so embarrassing? Meanwhile, on the other side, Chen Lo and the others made so much noise collecting supplies that they instantly attracted the attention of the survivors upstairs. Just then, an older woman on the 3rd floor shouted loudly, "Young man, I can tell just by looking at you that you're a helpful and handsome young man. Could you help me bring a durian up here? I simply adore them." As soon as she said that, some people asked him to bring up 2 packs of Huazi cigarettes, and others asked him to bring up a few bottles of Maodai. Some even suggested he deliver a girl. They're getting more and more shameless. Seeing this, Chen Lu did not give them a good look. He directly retorted, "Do not you have legs? Cannot you come down and get it yourselves if you want to eat?" Then Chen Lu gestured for everyone to continue moving, ignoring them. This angered the group of survivors upstairs considerably, so everyone grabbed pots, pans, and bowls and rushed downstairs. Usually when there are murners downstairs, this group of people, one was more cowardly than the next. They'd rather starve to death than go downstairs. Now seeing Chen Lu and the others had dealt with all the mourners downstairs, this group of people were braver than ever. They all rushed towards Chen Lu and the others, shouting angrily, "Hurry up and put the things down for us. Did not your mother ever teach you that taking something without asking is stealing?" Hearing this, Chen Lu immediately retorted coldly, "Is this supermarket your family's?" At this time, a middle-aged man spoke up. "You know what? This supermarket really is my family's. My younger brother is the owner here. Now he's dead. Is not the supermarket mine?" Seeing this, everyone said, then quickly seized his heavy truck full of supplies. "Do not let him steal all our supplies." Saying this, some people prepared to climb onto the heavy truck and drive it away. Seeing this, Chen Lu did not indulge them. He directly shouted, "I want to see who dares to touch my truck today." Just then an old man swaggered over and said arrogantly, "So you're saying you want to fight? Ha! Let me see what you've got. I've been a master in the porcelain world for decades. If you dare touch me, I dare to fall to the ground and not get up. Without 100 people and 100,000 yuan, you would not be leaving this neighborhood today." The old man then leaned his face close to Chen Lu. Seeing this, Chen Lu did not stand on ceremony. After all, it was a reasonable request. Not fulfilling it would indeed be unreasonable. Then he slapped the old man across the face. The powerful force sent him flying more than 10 meters away. Seeing the old man lying motionless on the ground, an old woman quickly rushed forward to check on him. Old Wang? That's enough. You're acting quite convincingly this time. Hurry up and demand compensation from him. Then Chen Lu said coldly. What are you all standing around for? Do not you see someone trying to steal our things? All of you attack. Seeing this, an old man who called himself Teacher Mai immediately stepped forward. He bellowed, I've been a master in the boxing ring for decades. What I hate most are you young people who do not abide by the rules of martial arts. Take this lightning 5 whip. But before he could unleash his martial arts expertise, Ma Ling's fire-type ability sent Master Ma running for cover. However, the moment the elderly couple left, several young people approached Chen Lu and the others. Chen Lu immediately recognized the leader as Chen Guang. In his past life, when Chen Lu first awakened his abilities, he briefly hung out with him. This man was daring and ruthless. It's a pity that Chen Lu did not hang out with him for long. He was killed by the morning pea. Seeing several people approaching, Chen Lu immediately let out a cold snort. What? So you guys also want to grab some supplies? The man quickly explained, brother, you've got it wrong. We're here to make friends. My name is Chen Ge. To be frank, I have a request. I'd like to ask all of you heroes to help me out. After the matter is settled, I'll give you 500 kilograms of rice and 10 buckets of water. How does that sound? Hearing this, Chen Lu smiled slightly. I'm Chen. How do you want us to help you? Then Chen Guang said in a low voice. A super powerful stray dog has recently appeared in our neighborhood. It not only awakened its electric power, but also developed a bit of intelligence. Whenever it sees someone from my group going out alone to scavenge for supplies, it will suddenly appear and ambush them. Now several of our brothers are in that bastard's hands. Brother Chen Lu, I see you have many men. So I wanted to ask for your help in dealing with this menace. Chen Lu immediately agreed. It was not because of the reward that Chen Lu was willing to help, but because his own team members are also collecting supplies in this neighborhood. If we do not get rid of this mad dog, his own men might also be attacked by that bastard. And Chen Lu estimated that the bereaved dog's level definitely had not reached level 3. Otherwise, Chen Guang and the others would have died hundreds of times already. Although level 2 crystals were no longer useful to him at this point, using them to upgrade Millie was a good choice. Thinking this, Chen Lu immediately instructed everyone to continue transporting supplies. I'll go and take a look with brother Chen Gong. Let's go. Upon saying that, Chen Guang was instantly shocked and pale. He hurriedly shouted, brother Chen Lu, you're not joking, are you? You cannot go alone. Hearing this, Chen Lu chuckled. Just me alone. Did not you see my brother Fo Wang also came? Put your mind at ease. Just lead the way. Seeing Chen Lu so insistent, Chen Gong did not say much else. Then he took Chen Lu to a garden in the residential area. He indicated that the stray dog usually appeared in this area. We've clashed with it many times, but because we do not have enough manpower, it always got away. We could not do anything about it. Upon hearing this, Chen Lu immediately declared that the damn dog would not escape today. As long as it dares to appear, I'll make sure it never returns. Hearing this, Chen Gong immediately asked Chen Luo for his plan, as he was indeed very curious. With so many of them helpless against that beast, where did he get the confidence to say he'd make it never return? Chen Lu did not respond to his question, but instead gestured for the Dharma King to actively search for prey nearby. Chen Guang froze on the spot at this sight. Then he shouted, brother, do you have a grudge against this dog? A rabid dog that a group of us Esper examinees could not handle? But before he could finish, a series of pained barks came from a distance. Just how terrifying is a Tibetan Mastiff that has mutated into a rabid dog? Not only can it bite a top-tier Esper to death in one bite, but this damn dog has also awakened a powerful attack talent, Thunder ability. It's such a powerful being. Did not even last a round against this little dog. Right from the start, Shang Hu Quan unleashed multiple thunder-based abilities at Dharma King D, but unexpectedly, Dharma King dodged them all with a swift wind-based movement. Then seizing the opportunity, Dharma King pounced and unleashed a thunderous sweep. He slammed it hard into Shang Hu Quan's face. The powerful force instantly sent the dog flying. The electrocuted stray dog, cooked to a crisp, died instantly. Seeing this, Chen Gong was instantly shocked. He thought to himself, is this the kind of power a dog should have? I feel like it's over before it even began. Seeing this, Chen Lu smiled slightly. Then our cooperation ends here. Do not forget to send me the supplies you promised. Having said that, Chen Lu stepped forward and retrieved the stray dog's crystal. This scared Chen Guang, who was standing nearby. He quickly shouted, brother Chen Lu, what are you doing? Seeing that he still did not know the crystal's function, Chen Lu did not hide anything. He generously told them the secret of the crystal. Upon learning that the crystal could actually enhance the level of ability users, Chen Guang immediately expressed his gratitude to Chen Lu. Such an important secret. It would not be an exaggeration to say it's worth $1 billion. Brother Chen Lu, you actually told us without a second thought. We are eternally grateful for your great kindness and generosity. I'll go back with the brothers and get you the supplies. Chen Lu then took the Dharma King back to the community. By now the heavy truck was basically full of supplies. Not long after, Chen Gong and the others found Chen Luo with the payment. Taking a closer look, this rice at least 2.5 tons. And there's more than 10 barrels of pure water. Then Chen Guang said with a smile, brother Chen Lu, do not think it's too little. I know these things are insignificant compared to the secret of the crystals. Consider the extra as a small token of our appreciation. Also, I wonder, Brother Chen Lu, if you have any thoughts on forming an alliance. I'm not bragging, but my brothers here are all brave and fearless fighters. Absolutely no cowards among them. Would you consider a strong alliance with us? Chen Lu was immediately agitated upon hearing this. He immediately stated that there's no such thing as an alliance in his group. I can accept your joining, but I do not accept so-called alliances. To put it bluntly, something you would not like to hear. You all together or not? Even a match for my dog. And throughout history, there's never been a precedent for the strong and the weak allying. Only the weak rely on the strong. But just then, Chen Guang's companion suddenly ran over and shouted that something big happened. Our men were just attacked by the Mourners. A mourner with supernatural abilities critically injured one of our brothers. Go and take a look. Seeing this, Chen Lu and Millie followed. But they found that the person's wound was still bleeding profusely. He was almost out of breath. Chen Lu did not hesitate. He quickly gestured for Millie to help. After Millie used healing magic on the wound, the person's wound healed visibly and instantly. Immediately afterward, the man miraculously stood up. Seeing this, Chen Guang and the others immediately expressed their gratitude to Millie. Seeing that he was no longer in serious danger, Chen Lu turned and left with Millie. Before leaving, Chen Lu also asked them to consider his previous proposal. We will not be staying here long. If you change your minds, you can find me anytime. Then Chen Guang gathered all his brothers. Chen Guang then led his men to find Chen Lu. He expressed that everyone was willing to follow him from now on, but what Chen Lu never expected was a group of uninvited guests were breaking into their base camp at that moment. They were trying to seize the D territory by force while Chen Lu was away. But at that moment, only 2 members were left guarding the base. They watched as the group approached the area where supplies were stored, step by step. A member quickly asked Fang Yu what they should do now. There are at least a dozen of them. We definitely cannot win. Hearing this, Fang Yu immediately declared, no matter what, we have to stop them. This is supplies everyone risked their lives for. Judging by the time, Brother Chen and the others should be back soon. Let's go down and stall them for a while. Having said that, the 2 of them rushed down and stood before the group. Then they shouted, what do you want? This is private property. Meanwhile, Chen Lu had already returned to the base's gate with the main force, but he quickly noticed something was wrong. Not only were there many unfamiliar vehicles parked at the entrance of the residential area, but his residence was also surrounded by people. Seeing this, Chen Lu immediately ordered everyone to rush back and support Fang Yu. However, as soon as he got out of the car, he spotted an old acquaintance from his past life. This person's name was Liu Wei. The poison gas he released was comparable to a biological weapon. It was Qin Jing, that green TB ****, who after ruining him in Deju, found this guy as her backer. What a small world. Then a small arrogant guy swaggered up to the heavy truck. He shouted, if I'm not mistaken, that should be supplies inside. The rules of the underworld are to split everything in half upon meeting. But before he could finish his sentence, Liu Wei slapped him across the face. Do you even know the rules, kid? This was gathered at the risk of their lives. Why should I share half with you? Then he bowed and scraped to Chen Lu, saying, I'm sorry, my brother is not quite right in the head. Please forgive his rudeness. We did not know this area was your territory. We'll be going now. With that, he hastily left with his men. Even so, my fan still sensed this person's malice towards Chen Lu. To figure out what this guy was up to, Chen Lu quietly instructed everyone to follow them secretly. At this time, the little guy who had just been beaten curiously asked, Boss, why did you hit me just now? With so many of us, cannot we handle that kid? Hearing this, Liu Wei angrily knocked him on the head and said, You idiot. Use your brain a little. No one will gain an advantage by fighting head-on. Would not a surprise attack be better? Chen Lu, hearing this, was instantly furious. He thought to himself, since that's the case, then none of you are leaving today. The next second, a spatial magic ball landed precisely on Liu Wei's head, instantly sending the bastard to hell. Then Chen Lu said coldly, Brothers, attack, leave none alive. After dealing with this rabble, Chen Lu returned home to get some sleep. However, he had just lain down. A sudden urgent knocking came from outside the door. This made him overjoyed, because he knew that whoever would come looking for him late at night must be his wife, Millie. But when he opened the door, it was his sister-in-law, Miling. Before he could figure out what was going on, Miling, blushing, shoved a black bag into his hands. She even brought him a whole sack of small balloons. Is it a twist of human nature or a moral collapse? The proud and cold-blooded Rose Ling Yanji actually did such a scandalous thing. It turns out it was because his sister-in-law worried that he was not ready to be a father yet, so while he was out collecting supplies, she deliberately gave him some heart protection. To not disappoint his sister-in-law's good intentions, Chen Lu turned his head and rushed into Millie's room. Since what follows is not very pleasant to watch, I'll just skip ahead. Early the next morning, Millie anxiously found Chen Lu. She said she sensed a major event would happen in 2 days, that this world would face a terrifying upheaval. Chen Lu immediately understood this was a sign of the Mourner's imminent evolution. By then, most Mourners would evolve to level 1. Thinking of this, Chen Lu immediately took out the 5th level fire attribute crystal obtained from the mutant. Although this thing is of little use to him, it would not allow him to directly reach level 5. It's better to use it to improve the strength of his trusted subordinates first. The energy in this crystal is enough to raise everyone to level 3. Then Chen Lu found Mi Ling and said, I really like the gift you gave me yesterday. It's impolite not to reciprocate. I must show my appreciation as well. Hearing this, Mai Ling's face flushed instantly. A wave of inexplicable shame surged through her heart. She thought this guy had come to tease her on purpose. Unexpectedly, Chen Lu handed her a fire-type crystal. Use this to get to level 3 first? I'll give it to others after you've used it up. Seeing this, Mai Ling did not stand on ceremony with him. After all, this was her brother-in-law's kind intention. Then Chen Lu did the same. He used this crystal to raise the other original members to level 3 as well. But strangely, the other members' strength significantly improved after leveling up, but Mai Fan did not change at all. Could it be that it enhanced its precognitive abilities? Early the next morning, Chen Lu summoned all the base members. He informed everyone that the Sang-Hu were about to evolve to level 1. However, everyone need not be too alarmed. I'll teach you all how to deal with these morning households now. The biggest difference between a level 1 morning household and lower level morning household is that they will use psychic abilities to attack us. Therefore, we must master some evasion techniques. I'll demonstrate for everyone now. Saying this, Chen Lu asked Mai Ling and Xu Yun to attack him using their abilities. Hearing this, the two did not hesitate. Immediately they unleashed their combined martial soul skill, Ice and Fire 2 Heavens, at Chen Lu, but unexpectedly this explosive attack was easily dodged by Chen Lu with a single jump. Seeing this, everyone was shocked and dismayed. They all shouted, "Captain's awesome. How did he do that?" Then Chen Lu said in a serious tone, "Actually, it's quite simple. I just predicted their attack trajectory, based on their spellcasting gestures. Then I jumped to dodge them beforehand. As long as you all master this technique, dealing with level 1 zombies will be easy in the future, although they possess some intelligence. But Jue was not smart enough to predict this. If you encounter a bereaved person who can predict your actions, remember, never hesitate. Just run, because those kinds of bereaved people are simply beyond your capabilities. Now then, everyone will find their own opponents for training. After lunch, everyone will be divided into 4 groups to hunt bereaved people. You must return to base before dinner. Everyone must obtain 20 level 1 crystals. If one person in the team fails to complete the task, the whole team will be punished collectively." Afterwards, Chen Lu and Millie, etc. left the. On the way, they encountered a group of survivors bullying a girl. Seeing this, Millie quickly shouted, "That's my best friend. Brother Chen Lu, can I go down and help her?" Hearing this, Chen Lu smiled slightly. "How could I possibly let you go? Just leave it to the Dharma King. The Dharma King is very discerning." Without a word, he jumped out of the car, but when everyone saw a stray dog rushing towards them, they immediately burst into laughter. They all shouted to catch it. "We'll have meat tonight." As soon as they approached, a terrifying surge of electricity erupted from the Dharma King's body, instantly electrocuting the group of thugs to a crisp. Just moments before, Chen Lu and the others had encountered a group of survivors bullying a girl. Millie recognized the girl instantly as her childhood friend, so she pleaded with Chen Lu to help her. Chen Lu did not hesitate. The Dharma King was immediately dispatched to the rescue. After dealing with those little brats, Millie immediately rushed over and shouted, "Jing Jing, do not hurt Heng. The Dharma King was sent by your brother Chen Lu to save you." Seeing this, the two immediately expressed their gratitude to Chen Lu for saving their lives. "My name is Zhang Jimp. I've been Millie's best friend since childhood. This is my father Zhang Fei. Thank you for your help just now, brother Chen Lu. I wonder if your team is still recruiting. We really have nowhere else to go." Considering Millie's sake, Chen Lu could not refuse, so he directly brought them back to base. But as soon as they got out of the car, Zhang Jing said she wanted to sleep in the same room as Millie. Seeing this, Chen Lu did not indulge her. She immediately stated that only core members could live in this villa. Xian was also very perceptive. She immediately went forward and brought Zhang Jingjing to their side. Seeing that she was so familiar with the captain's wife, Xu arranged for Zhang Jingjing to have dinner with her. You should know that for new members who just joined the base, having a bowl of rice to eat is already very good. Even Mai Ling, when she first joined, only had plain white rice. But today they're eating potatoes and meat. But Zhang Pimpin is eating heartily while listening to Millie and the others talk about what they had for lunch. Why did not everyone eat together? Xu Yun immediately understood that she was being competitive, so she immediately said, "We have hundreds of people at the base now. There's no place big enough for everyone to eat together. It's potatoes and meat. Are you full?" Although she said she absolutely did not mean that, she secretly thought that Millie was definitely eating better than them. That's so inconsiderate. She has something delicious and did not bring me along. Meanwhile, on the other side, Chen Lu was instructing Millie, "Do not tell Zhang Jingjing our secret yet, even though that person is your best friend. But I also need to observe her for a while. If her abilities and character are both good, I naturally would not treat her poorly." Hearing this, Millie quickly nodded, indicating that she understood. But just then, Fang Yu's voice suddenly came from the walkie-talkie. "Brother Chen, bad news. More than 10 cars suddenly arrived at the entrance of our base, requesting support." Seeing this, Chen Lu immediately instructed Xu Yun to quickly go to the entrance to support Fang Yu. Bring Zhang Jingjing along as well. Do not treat her any differently. Then Xu Yun immediately notified everyone to put down their bowls and chopsticks and prepare for battle. Before Zhang Jingjing could understand what was happening, Xu Yun asked her what type of ability user she was. Upon learning that she was a strength type, Xu Yun then arranged for her to stand at the front of the line. Hearing this, Zhang Pinjing immediately pulled Lai Ho beside her and shouted, "Why do I have to stand at the front and be cannon fodder? Why can she stand at the back?" Lai Ho quickly explained, "I'm dark type. A long range. That's why Yun Ji arranged for me to stand at the back." Seeing this, Xu Yun did not indulge her. He dragged her straight to the base's entrance. Seeing this, Millie quickly stepped forward to comfort her. "Jingjing, do not be afraid. If Lahoi really wakes up, I'll continuously buff you and heal you. But just then, she noticed the cream on Millie's mouth. She thought just as I suspected. Fine, you did not bring me any good food. You did not even say a word for me at such a critical moment. So what if you've hooked up with a small base leader? It's nothing to be proud of. You started it, then do not blame me for retaliating. Who would have thought that this charming and cute girl before me is actually a cruel and heartless rich girl? A kind man rescued her from the bully. He even brought her back to his base and provided her with food and shelter. But instead of being grateful, she betrayed him when the base was in danger. Just now, a group of uninvited guests suddenly broke into the base. Seeing this, Fang Yu and the others immediately stopped them, saying that this was private property and they could not enter. But this group of people are yelling, "Kid, do not get cocky. My older brother's a level 2 ability user. If you know what's good for you, get lost." Seeing Chen Lu approaching with his people, Chen Wang quickly said, "Brother Chen, we've already warned them." But they would not listen. At this time, a burly man with a scruffy beard walked over and said, "Young man, you're the boss here, right? To be honest, we're desperate. That's why we dared to barge into your territory. My brothers have not eaten anything for a day and a night. Could you please give us some food to tide us over?" Hearing this, Chen Lu chuckled. "So you mean you did eat something yesterday? Giving it away is absolutely out of the question. But you can trade crystals with me for it. I do not have any extra food. But since we're all survivors, I can reluctantly exchange a little with you." But just then, the strong man discovered that Chen Lu's group were all girls, including Chen. In his eyes, none of them were capable fighters. He thought, "I'm a level 2 ability user. It's just a small fry with a bunch of women." The courage Liang Jingru gave him surged into his heart. Then he arrogantly said, "We do not need much. Just a few dozen tons of rice and a few hundred barrels of water will do. Listen, your kid. If you push my brothers too far, I cannot guarantee they will not do something extreme." These words thoroughly enraged Chen Lu. He was about to go and eliminate this clueless dog, Dong Ha, but suddenly heard Zhang Jingjing's voice from behind. "Chen Lu, just give them some food. Why resort to violence? The food they want really is not much to you." Hearing this, Millie quickly told her to shut up and not talk nonsense. But Zhang Jingjing continued talking incessantly. "Which word did I say wrong? You've hoarded so much food. Why not use it to send them away? When things get tough, I'll be at the front. You guys in the back are just talking from a position of comfort." As soon as these words left my mouth, the people on the other side burst into laughter. They all said that this little girl was reasonable. Then Chen Lu slowly walked up to Zhang Jingjing. Then with a backhand he delivered a powerful slap. "Who do you think you are? When did it become your turn to speak here?" Seeing this, Zhang Fei quickly stepped forward to reprimand Chen Lu, saying he was out of his mind. "What did my daughter say wrong? Are you blind? Do not you see all those people over there? You filled more than a dozen villas here with supplies. Giving them some would not hurt, would it? Although these supplies are insignificant to Chen Luo. But if I set this precedent, I will inevitably become a target for everyone." Then Chen Lu said coldly, "It seems that you two, father and daughter, are truly ungrateful ingrates. Is this how you repay me for saving your lives? I'll deal with you later. You do not seem like you're together. Are you here to loot supplies too?" The young man quickly waved his hands. "Brother, please do not misunderstand. We're just here to see if there are any empty villas we can stay in. Since this is your territory, we'll take our leave." But at this moment, the strong man was still arrogantly threatening Chen Lu to hand over the supplies. But who knew that the next second, Chen Lu actually condensed a spatial magic ball. Then, with a backhand strike, he instantly killed this thing that did not know what was good for it. At this time, Chen Lu said coldly, "All team members, listen up. Eliminate them all for me." Zhang Pinpin and her father were instantly shocked upon hearing this. You must know that the opponent's number was at least 3 times theirs. This kid actually dared to spout such arrogant words. But under Mai Ling's leadership, the battle only lasted 2.5 minutes. That rabble on the other side collectively received their hot-boxed lunches. At this moment, Zhang Jingjing and her father finally realized why he had been so tough earlier. That was the source of his confidence. Then Zhang Jingjing crawled to Chen Lu like a dog begging for mercy. "I was so scared just... That's why I said all those stupid things. Please do not kill me. For Millie's sake." Chen Lu did not push things too far either. "I'm saying this place is too small to accommodate both of your presences. Get out of my sight before I change my mind." Seeing this, Zhang Jingjing quickly shouted, "Millie, please speak up for me. I do not want to go." Seeing Millie unwilling to intercede, Zhang Jingjing then issued a harsh warning. "Millie, you just remember this. It's just because you've latched onto a big shot, is not it? When I find myself a big shot too, you'll be sorry." These words were hardly out of his mouth when Chen Lu immediately kicked the Dharma King. He signaled it not to leave any trouble for everyone. The next second, the Dharma King, understanding perfectly, chased after the father and daughter. Meanwhile, on the other side, the young man who had been sensible earlier returned and found Chen Lu. "Hello, my name is Lin Chen. I'm not sure, Brother Chen, are you still recruiting? We all want to join your forces." Saying this, they offered Chen Lu a crystal the size of an egg. Seeing this, Chen Lu immediately took the crystal and examined it carefully. To his surprise, he discovered it was a level 6 crystal. He quickly asked where they had obtained it. Hearing this, Ling Chen smiled slightly. "I found the crystal on a giant monstrous type. Consider this my gift to you upon meeting. I hope you will take us in." This made Chen Lu overjoyed. He secretly thought that with this crystal, his level 5 advancement was imminent. He originally estimated that it would take at least a month to advance. It seems now 3 or 5 days will suffice. Therefore Chen Lu immediately stated, given your sincerity, I agree you're joining, but you must abide by our rules here. Chen Guan, you explain it to him. Hearing this, Chen Gong immediately began to explain. Actually, our rules here are very simple. For absolutely obey Chen Ji's orders. Second, during battle retreat is unacceptable. Lang Shen immediately reassured him, saying, do not worry, we do not have any cowards here. Then Chen Luo took the crystal and prepared to go home to absorb it. But then I found the Dharma King suddenly running towards me, wagging its tail. Then it signaled that I was rid of my future troubles. Do not you think I deserve a bonus for this? In the post-apocalypse, the truly terrifying thing is not the dead, it's the indistinguishable good and evil in people's hearts. Because this woman would not give up the supplies she'd worked so hard to find. These pigs and dogs actually dared to brutally murder the girl in public. It was just now. Chen Lo wanted to train these newly recruited members, so he instructed Xu Yun to take them out for some field training. Then led by Xu Yun, everyone arrived at a residential area. Before entering, Xu Yun ordered them to search the residential area in groups of 4. They were told to contact each other using walkie-talkies immediately if they encountered any unexpected situations. But who knew, as soon as they started, a large convoy of vehicles drove into the residential area. Seeing this, Xu Yun immediately notified everyone to stop searching. All members assemble immediately by the heavy truck. However, the moment she finished speaking, a group of members were unfortunately surrounded by the newly arrived convoy. Seeing that the women were attractive, these men developed malicious intentions. They threatened to rob them of both their money and their virtue. Just as 2 men were about to approach with ill intent, but the girl instantly used a devastating kick. She immediately incapacitated one of them. Then the leader of the opposing group, Xiao Gaga, roared furiously, what are you all standing there for? You get now? Immediately, dozens of people surrounded them menacingly. When Xu Yun arrived, the girl was already lying in a pool of blood. Seeing that they were about to attack their other teammates, an ice arrow shot through one person's head. Then Xu Yun said coldly, let them go immediately, or do not blame me for being ruthless. But unexpectedly, a man with glasses walked out from the other side, and shouted such big talk. Let's see how capable you are. He immediately used an earth shield to protect his men. But the next second an ice arrow pierced his shield. The man was instantly shocked and terrified. He did not expect this woman to be so strong. Seeing that the other side's forces had gathered, the man with glasses immediately ordered his men to release the people. But unexpectedly, Yanli had already stopped breathing. Xu Yun was furious, wishing she could kill them all. But she knew this was not the time to act rashly. The enemy outnumbered them at least 2 to 1. Engaging them would only result in unnecessary casualties. With this in mind, Xu Yun tearfully ordered a full retreat. She muttered, you're gonna pay for this. I'm going back for reinforcements. Meanwhile, Yanli's man from Cess was still shouting that the people could go, but the heavy truck had to stay. Seeing Xu Yun and the others leave without looking back, the man quickly asked the boss why he let them go, but before he could finish, the man with glasses slapped him across the face. You got it? Did not you see her ice arrow pierce my earth elemental? If we fought, nobody would win. Meanwhile, Xu Yun had already returned to base. Then she told Chen Lu the whole story. Upon hearing this, Chen Lu did not punish her. Instead, he said, you did well. You were not blinded by hatred. You came back to tell me immediately. Since you've chosen to follow me, I will absolutely not tolerate anyone bullying you. Immediately notify all base members too. As Chen Lu raised his arm, everyone shouted in unison, blood debts must be repaid in blood. Immediately afterward, Chen Lu, furious, led his men to the scene of the incident. Guided by they quickly found those unknown creatures. Seeing this, the bespectacled man was instantly terrified. He had not expected them to find him so quickly. Then Chen Lu said coldly, I hear you've been pretty arrogant. Not only did you steal my supplies, you also killed one of my men. I'd like to know who gave you the courage. Was it Lion Jingru? The man with glasses quickly said, brother, please calm down. I'll have my men bring your heavy truck back, and we'll compensate you with 1,000 kilograms of rice. How about that? Chen Lu did not respond. Instead, he indifferently said, so by your logic, a human life is only worth 1,000 caddies of rice, right? I'll give you 100 tons of rice now. How about that for buying all your lives? Although these words were incredibly arrogant, the bespectacled man saw that the woman who was clearly more powerful than himself was showing utmost respect to this man. He was even more certain that this person must have the capital for his arrogance. So he immediately said to the subordinate who caused the incident, this is all your fault. We cannot let all our brothers take the blame for you. Saying this, he had his subordinate take him to Chen Lu. But who knew this little black guy was quite principled? He immediately told Chen Lu that Zhang San unless I also participated. And those 2 guys were even more ruthless than I was. Big brother, please spare my life, considering how honest I've been. Hearing this, Chen Lu immediately glared fiercely at the bespectacled man. Then he shouted, where are Zhang San, Lai Si, and the others? This scared him quite a bit. He immediately ordered his men to quickly bring the people over to him. Seeing this, Chen Lu did not stand on ceremony with him either. He quickly shouted, give me a few brothers who have not washed their feet in 2.5 years. Beat them with your shoes until they draw it. The words had just left his mouth when several brothers who never washed their feet rushed forward, following the sound of slapping. Those few were instantly beaten into a pulp, letting everyone vent their anger. Then Chen Lu called Wang Ling to treat their injuries. The other brothers still were not satisfied. We cannot let them get away with this. But just then, Xu Hai suddenly came over with a board studded with nails. She said she would take over from Yan Lai and teach these rich kids a lesson. Immediately, a heart-wrenching wail echoed to the heavens. Unexpectedly, after only 2.5 minutes, several of them were instantly killed. Seeing this, the bespectacled man broke out in a cold sweat. I did not expect this woman to be so vicious. Then he immediately stated, since the perpetrator has already received the punishment they deserve, then should not our grievances be settled? But Chen Lu coldly said, you think you can get away with it just by sacrificing a few lives? There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Today all of you will pay the price for Yan Li's death. The bespectacled man shouted immediately, are you even being reasonable? I've already handed over the troublemaker to you. What more do you want? You really think we're afraid of you? My brothers here are all battle-hardened, top-tier esper, and we outnumber you. If you know what's good for you, get lost. Do not force us to fight. Chen Lu's expression changed instantly upon hearing this. He thought it was time to let the new members see his strength. After all, in the apocalypse, to control one's subordinates, it's not about winning them over with kindness. It's not about feeding them well either, but about possessing overwhelming strength that commands obedience. Thinking this, Chen Lu immediately waved his hand, signaling everyone to retreat. Dealing with these small fry, I alone am enough. The bespectacled man froze on the spot at this sight. He thought, there's a limit to showing off, right? I want to see how you're going to defeat all of us by yourself. Mil is also very perceptive. She quickly cast 2 buffs on her husband. Then he instantly condensed a 20-meter void sword. This scared the bespectacled man quite a bit. He quickly used an earth shield to defend. The next second, Chen Lu appeared before him with a strange, seemingly teleporting movement. Before he could even understand what happened, the bespectacled man was cut in half at the waist by Chen Lu's sword. Then he turned and charged into the enemy's ranks. At this moment, Chen Lu was like a hungry tiger that had burst into a flock of sheep. He wildly swung his sword, slaughtering indiscriminately. Wherever he went, a large cloud of blood mist would inevitably erupt. All the surrounding little guys were instantly killed upon contact. In an instant, more than 100 of the opposing side collectively received their hot-boxed lunches. Seeing the scene, Lang Chen was immediately dumbfounded by what he saw. He had not expected the boss's strength to be so terrifying. Thankfully, I did not attack him when he was down. Instead, I chose to join his team. Then everyone shouted, Brother Chen is awesome. Swearing to follow Brother Chen, Chen Guang even ran over and publicly flattered Chen Lu. Follow my brother Chen is absolutely the most correct decision I've ever made in my life. No ands or but. At this moment, Chen Lu said in a deep voice, since everyone has chosen to follow me, Chen Lu, no matter who bullies anyone under my protection, I will make them pay a heavy price. But one must also be strong. Because I cannot possibly be by everyone's side at all times, the reason I arranged for you all to go on this training exercise is not just to collect supplies and crystals. It's more to train your teamwork and individual abilities. Only in this way can everyone better survive the apocalypse. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone shouted, we will follow Brother Chen's teachings. Meanwhile, on the other side, 2 survivors sneaked into the base while no one was around. But when they saw the Dharma King guarding the place, tears of excitement instantly streamed down their faces. The red-haired one was about to rush forward to capture the Dharma King, but his companion stopped him in time, saying, you think you can outrun a 4-legged creature? He even boasted that any dog he targeted would have no chance of escaping. There's an old saying, a dog will never change its spots. Just get 2 fresh ones, that stupid dog would not resist. Little do they know, this foolish decision would make them regret it for the rest of their lives. Soon, the 2 threw the recently unloaded goods in front of the Dharma King. Then he yelled, eat it quickly, you stupid dog. This angered the Dharma King greatly. He thought to himself, I was prepared to turn a blind eye and let you go. But these 2 dogs actually dared to insult me with this filth. I can tolerate many things, but being insulted with this, I cannot stand it. Having said that, a terrifying surge of electricity erupted from the Dharma King's body. Seeing this, Xiao Gaga was instantly terrified. This dog, could it be Pikachu's evolution? They shouted in a hurry. Why is it even electrified? Seeing the situation was wrong, they immediately chose to retreat. But it was too late. The next second, they were electrocuted by the Pope's thunderbolt, cooked to a crisp inside and out. This scene happened to be witnessed by Chen Lu, who had just returned. When he looked at the 2 things on the ground, he instantly understood everything, and after the Yanli incident, Chen Lu also understood a truth, that is, their strength in numbers. If we had more people at the time, even if he had not been there, the other party definitely would not have dared to act so recklessly. Thinking of this, Chen Lu decided to put up a recruitment advertisement at the entrance. Punny then asked Chen Guan to be in charge of the interviews. Soon a team of ability users arrived at the entrance of the residential area. When they saw how generous the treatment was here, they immediately decided to join this base together. Then a man with flowing long hair walked over and said, hello, my name is, I'm a level 2 light type ability user, but 2 of my teammates are only level 1. I saw it says on there that family members can be brought along for the special ability test. Do you think we could join your base together? Hearing this, Chen Guang immediately said, you do not seem to be related. I'll have to ask our leader about this situation. So Chen Guan told Chen Lu about the situation. After learning that they had a level 2 support player, Chen Lu immediately agreed to their joining, because currently only Millie and Wang Ling are the 2 therapists at the base. With Lu Kai's addition, it will also help them reduce a significant burden. Then Chen Lu returned to his room and took out the level 6 crystal. He immediately began frantically absorbing the crystal's energy. At this moment, he was just a step away from advancing to level 5. Once he breaks through to level 5, he can not only summon the Void Sword for extended combat, but also continues to use Void Walk. As the energy in the crystal was completely absorbed by him, Chenlo successfully broke through to level 5 as he wished. He immediately found Shuyun and asked her to lead people to Happiness Road immediately, preparing to make a big score at the nearby farmer's market. This time, Chenlu decided to leave the Dharma King and Chen Guang and the others to guard the house. Then Chenlu led a large motorcade to the vegetable market. Because the number of zombies inside was too large to avoid unnecessary casualties, Chenlu ordered the use of a lure tactic. Jiang Feng was responsible for luring the bereaved. Do not bring back too many at once. Elemental ability users will use long-range attacks to quickly eliminate the Zhang Hu. After receiving the order, Millie immediately cast 2 buff skills on Jiang Feng. Jiang Feng did not delay. He immediately used the Lingbo microsteps to rush into the horde. In a short while, he returned with dozens of zombies to the vicinity of the convoy. Seeing this, the elementalist immediately began to remotely attack the zombies. Their corporation was extremely well coordinated. They instantly eliminated this wave of zombies. Quickly they used this tactic to annihilate all the zombies outside the farmer's market. Although there are not many infected left inside the farmer's market now, Chenlo still ordered Jiang Feng to return quickly. He would personally lure out the remaining infected, because he clearly remembered that in his past life he encountered a level 5 mutated creature here. This level of infect not only possesses strength comparable to a level 5 ability user, but also has the intelligence of a 10-year-old child. With everyone's current strength, encountering it would mean instant death. Then Chenlu went alone into the market to search. He quickly discovered a straw-hatted zombie in a group of houses. Before Chenlu could even confirm their eyes met, the other party had already determined they'd met the right person. Without a word, it used a earth escape, heaven-crumbling, earth-splitting technique. Several earth spikes instantly sealed all of Chenlu's escape routes. But instead of being alarmed, Chenlu was delighted. I did not expect to find this level 5 crystal so quickly. However, the moment a spike pierced through Chenlu's body, he suddenly disappeared as if he had evaporated into thin air. Then the next second, Chenlu eerily appeared before it using Void Walking. Before the mutated zombie could react, Chenlu instantly condensed a Void Sword and slashed at the mutant. There was a whooshing sound. Chenlu cleanly beheaded the mourner's dog with a single sword. Just like that, Chenlu obtained another level 5 crystal. Then he immediately shouted to his subordinates behind him, "All team members listen up, cleanse the market of all mourners. Cowards will be left to die." Although these new members were all timid, not a single one dared to desert. Because Chenlu shows no mercy to those who disobey orders, he really does not show any leniency at all. Those caught are executed on the spot. Soon, under Chenlu's leadership, they completely annihilated the army of the bereaved. Seeing this, Chenlu immediately ordered his men to start transporting supplies. They took everything they could carry, but what he did not expect was that this farmer's market had quite a lot of supplies. We not only have various seasonings, but also dozens of tons of various meats and seafood in the cold storage. Fruits and vegetables are countless. Although these cannot compare to the quality of those stored in Chenlu's space, being able to find so much meat at this time is already incredibly fortunate. In the future, when rewarding members, he would not have to secretly take meat from his space anymore. If it were not for the level 5 mutant in this farmer's market, all this food would have been looted long ago. Soon everyone loaded all the supplies onto the trucks. However, just as everyone was about to leave, a man suddenly stopped Chenlu's convoy. Chenlu did not tolerate him. He immediately shouted, "Get out of the way, or do not blame me for being impolite. Otherwise do not blame me for being rude." The man knew instantly that this person was no good. He thought to himself, looks like I had not escaped this disaster today. But just then, a young man on a motorcycle suddenly rode towards them. Chenlu recognized him immediately. His Nea Haran. In his past life, he was known as the invincible Little Iron Fist, top-tier power-type Esper. His strength is on par with Dejos. He absolutely possesses the potential to become a king-level Esper. At this time, Siazura walked up to the man and said, "Tiger brother, I hear you have a live chicken. Could you please give it to me? My mother does not have much time left, but she wants to have some chicken soup before she passes away. I would be grateful if you could help me with this. From now on, my life is yours." Tiger brother immediately shouted, "You're so presumptuous. I'm still counting on that hen to lay eggs for me. How can your worthless life compare to my hen?" Seeing this, the younger brothers all said that the boss was right. "Tiger brother, what use is your worthless life to me? My hen lays, and you'll still eat our food. This is a losing proposition." Hearing this, Chenlu's heart blossomed with joy. He secretly thought they were a bunch of fools, calling trading one kun for a top expert a losing proposition. You do not get rich being picky. Besides, I've got plenty of kun. Then he immediately said to Siaharan, "Brother, can I buy your life? I've kun, and also a 3 Michelin-starred chef. I guarantee your mother will get to drink a delicious chicken soup." Hearing this, Siaharan agreed to the deal without hesitation. Seeing this, Chenlu immediately told Millie to go with Myling in one car. "I'll go with this brother to check the situation later. Your name is Siaharan, right? Then let's go to your house now. Bring your mother to live with me." Then Chenlu took Siaharan and his mother back to the base. Immediately he instructed Shuyun to arrange a room for Xia's mother. Then he found Miyu. He asked her to use her best skills to make a bowl of chicken soup. It's important, so be sure to do it carefully. Miyu was immediately unhappy when she heard this. She immediately retorted, "You make it sound like I do not usually do it carefully." Seeing this, Chenlu quickly explained, "Sister Yu, I absolutely did not mean that. What I meant was just be a little more careful this time, and casually make a few of your signature dishes. Thank you for your hard work, Sister Yu. Chen Lu thought to himself, to win people over, you have to do it properly in one go. Only then will they wholeheartedly follow me. It's a pity that Millie's therapy has not yet reached the point of curing terminal illnesses. Otherwise, Xia's mother might actually have a chance of recovery. Soon Mei Yu prepared a large table of delicious dishes. Xia Haran and his mother were instantly stunned by this sight. They thought their eyes were playing tricks on them. Then Xia's mother said in a deep voice, Haran, they are willing to offer so much precious food to show their respect to me. It shows how much they value you. We should know how to be grateful, okay? Xia Haran immediately responded, Mom, I know what to do. Seeing this scene of motherly love and filial piety, Chen Luo could not bear to disturb them, so he left the room alone. Not long after Xia Haran found Chen Luo, he said, my mother has left this world without regrets. Thank you, Brother Chen, for everything you've done for me. I, Xia Haran, am a person who knows how to be grateful. I'll prove it to you with my actions. Chen Luo patted his Zaren's shoulder and said, Brother, please take care. Just let me know if you need any help. From now on, we're brothers. As my team grows stronger, and with a reward and punishment system to motivate everyone, the base positions from highest to lowest, our leader, regular members and new members, as well as the special position attendants who only obey their own orders, all ability users of level 3 or above within the base are considered elite members. Those below level 3 are all regular members. As for newbers, they must complete half a month before they can be upgraded to regular members. From now on, anyone who goes out on a mission or hunts this class parasites will receive bonus points. Those of meritorious service can also earn extra points. For example, finding high-quality items and handing them over to Chen Lu, or finding excellent recruits for the base and so on. Points can be exchanged for any supplies within the base. As soon as these words were spoken, all the members in the base immediately cheered and their morale soared. They all shouted, following the leader, there's meat to eat. It's presumably a character name or abbreviation. Earning points. Meanwhile, on the other side, a large convoy is slowly approaching Chen Lu's base. The leader's name is Zhao Hai. He is Chen Lu's creditor. Before the apocalypse, Chen Lu mortgaged his villa to him. He borrowed 300 million from him to stockpile supplies. Their purpose in coming here is to collect the debt from Chen Lu, because he heard that the villa district mortgage to him has now become one of the 2 largest survivor bases nearby. It's said that the people inside are feasting on meat and fish every day. Soon Zhao Hai's convoy arrived at the base's gate. Seeing this, Lang Chen immediately sent a distress signal to Chen Lu. Brother Chen, a large convoy is trying to force its way into the base, requesting backup. After learning about the situation, Chen Lu immediately rushed to the gate. But when he saw clearly the group of people getting off the car, he froze on the spot. He secretly thought, is not this the big fool who lent me 300 million? Could it be that he's here to collect his debt? Seeing this, Zhao Hai quickly walked over and said, Brother Chen, we really are destined to meet. I hear you've become the leader of the base in this area. I do not suppose my younger brother will welsh on the 3 small targets he owes me, do you? You told me you'd pay it back in 2 days. It's been over a month overdue now. I'll waive the interest. Just return the principal immediately. Material goods as payment are also acceptable. And Chen Lu almost could not help but laugh out loud upon hearing this. He secretly thought this fellow could not possibly believe. I really will use supplies to pay off the debt. At this time, Chen Lu patted his chest and said, Bro, do you think I, Chen Lu, am the kind of person who would welsh on a debt? A few minutes before the apocalypse broke out, I transferred those 300 million to you. Did not you receive it? It's a pity that the bank cannot check it now. Otherwise, I really would have to take you to the bank to check this remittance. Zhao Hai, who had not sold goods for 30 years, had never seen such a shameless person. He immediately shouted, You have not paid me back yet. Do you think I would not know? You're trying to fool me? Hearing this, Chen Lu chuckled. Then show me the proof that I did not transfer the money. Do not talk nonsense without evidence. I, Chen Lu, am a grateful person. Considering you helped me before, I cannot let you make this trip in vain today. I'll give you 2 tons of rice as a token of my gratitude. At these words, Zhao Hai immediately said, Brother, that's a bit unfair. You want to pay me off with 2 tons of rice for 300 million. That does not seem right. I will not make things difficult for you. 50 tons of supplies and we'll call it even. How about that? Seeing this, Jintao, who was standing nearby, quickly and helplessly said, We cannot let this kid get away with it so easily. Everyone gets a share. 50 tons of supplies. That's not too much to ask, is it? If you do not have it, then I'll take that redhead behind you as payment. Hearing someone dare to have designs on his sister-in-law, Chen Lu's face immediately changed. Then he said coldly, You're deliberately trying to make things difficult for me, are not you? You know Maine is worthless now. Yet you dare to overcharge me. Forget that I've already transferred the 300 million. Even if I had not, what are you going to do about it? Why should I return the small self-made car I earned through my own efforts? Zhao Hai is skilled at observing people's expressions. Seeing Chen Lu's contemptuous look, he felt uneasy. And that was even when we outnumbered him 3-1. This kid actually dared to clash head-on with me. To dare do this can only mean he's sure of victory. So he quickly said with a smile, I'm really sorry, Chen. My memory's terrible. Those 300 million, you did indeed transfer them to me. I was taken. I hope you will not mind, little brother. Chen Lu immediately responded, Big brother, you're truly a remarkable person. Now immediately take your men and stand aside. I can overlook your responsibility for forcefully entering my base. Hearing this, Zhao Hai did not hesitate for a moment. He immediately ordered everyone to retreat 10 meters. Seeing this, Jin Tao quickly shouted, "You coward! They only have a few men there. What are you so scared of? Do not regret this when I get the supplies." Then Qianlu said coldly, "I'm giving you 2.5 seconds. Those who do not want to die should get over to Zhao Hai's side." Jin Tao thought none of his subordinates would betray him. However, when he looked behind him, he found his subordinates had all unconsciously retreated 10 meters. But Jin Tao did not panic at all. 2 balls of black flame erupted from his palms. The next second, he actually summoned an undead army. Then he arrogantly said, "It's not too late to beg for mercy now. Those slain by my undead army will never find peace in the afterlife." Qianlu ignored it. Instead, he shouted to his teammates behind him, "Leave this trash to you guys. Reward for killing a skeleton soldier, 10 points. Reward for capturing Jin Tao alive, 100 points. Who dares to go?" As soon as he finished speaking, the Dharma King was the first to charge out, barking incessantly. Seeing this, my fan immediately translated. The Dharma King says the position of base elder belongs to him. I'll gladly accept this reward point. Do not discriminate against animals. You have to treat everyone equally. Seeing as this dog has put it so bluntly, Qianlu had no choice but to assign the task to the Dharma King. The Dharma King instantly unleashed a group lightning spell, wiping them out. Then another 5-hit lightning combo took out 5 more. Qianlu had wanted to use this opportunity to train the base's new recruits. I did not expect that the freaking Dharma King would mess up my plan, but what Jin Tao never expected was, this mutt not only had amazing positioning, but his kiting tactics were also incredibly slick. In an instant, those little guys who had not managed to retreat were all completely fried by the Dharma King. Seeing this, My Ling immediately shouted, "The leader has ordered. 100 points will be awarded to whoever captures Jin Tao." At these words, the Dharma King immediately took a stride towards Jin Tao. This terrified Jin, who quickly cried out, "Doggy, spare my life. I know I've done wrong." He thought he would be either dead or crippled this time, but who knew the moment I opened my eyes, I found that the Dharma King had not attacked me, but instead lifted its leg and peed on my foot. Jin Tao, already dumbfounded, was even more dumbfounded. Before he could figure out what was going on, the Dharma King turned around and glared fiercely at his teammates. The meaning was clear. This 100 points this Dharma King has already reserved. Who dares to fight me for this kill? Qianlu, witnessing this scene, instantly blushed. He muttered to himself, "You've embarrassed me. Is this appropriate, peeing in public?" The Dharma King urinated by mistake, but at the same time Jin Tao also urinated. He was scared to death by the Dharma King. Then Jin Tao, like a stray dog, crawling to Qianlu, he hugged his leg and cried out, "Please let Gui spare me. I do not want the supplies." Zhao Hai, witnessing this scene, was instantly shocked and terrified. He thought to himself, as I expected. Luckily, I did not oppose him earlier. One dog reduced this idiot to this state. It seems this fool is doomed today.